Next up, we have a very rough episode. It's The Incredible Shrinking Sponge, which, the plot of the episode is cool. SpongeBob is shrunken down and has to do a bunch of stuff, but the episode itself is pretty weak. It does, of course, have some mistakes, and the one mistake we're going to be covering is actually pretty whack. Let's see if you guys can spot it. Here's a hint. It has to do with the galley grub menu. All right, roll the footage. Alright, so let's go back to season 1 for a second and take a look at the galley grub menu, more specifically how Patty and Krabby Patty is spelt. It's always spelt as P-A-T-T-Y, but one common mistake that's happened in a few episodes throughout SpongeBob's entire runtime, like the history of the show, is that sometimes Patty and Krabby Patty will be misspelt on the menu, and in this episode, The Incredible Shrinking Sponge, this happens right here. Look, Patty is weirdly spelt as P-A-T-T-I-E, which yeah, is a massive mistake. That's not how it's spelt at all. Okay, that one was kinda weak. It's still a mistake, so let's head over to another episode that actually has a good mistake in it. This one's really gonna shock you guys.
I'm gonna need to see some proof of pet.
Of course!
That's a rock.
Next up, we have another season 14 episode. The episode is Pet the Rock, and this is also a pretty good episode from season 14. With Patrick over here, our favorite starfish, getting himself a new pet rock, which is pretty cool. Also, didn't this happen before? I swear back in the season 2 or 3 episode where they race their snails, it's like the Great Snail Race, that Patrick has a pet rock, so kind of a reference here. But we're not here for references, we're here for mistakes.
I know what I do!
I will admit I'm kind of nitpicking when it comes to this one, but this picture right here shows Patrick and his family from the Patrick Star Show, but it's actually missing a ton of details. Let's start with Bunny over here, alright, because the picture of the family from Pet the Rock is missing the patterns normally seen on Bunny's clothing. The same thing with Patrick. I'm doing a side-by-side of each character, and Patrick, it's the same thing, the patterns are missing, but also Grandpat over here is missing one of his teeth, so yeah, a bit of a messy scene, but not that big of a deal. I'm kind of nitpicking. It's meant to be like a zoomed out shot of the picture, so I'm definitely over analyzing it. So let's move on to another episode with some actual crazy mistakes.
Classy new boat.
Hello, SpongeBob.
SpongeBob! You're not driving! I know, isn't it great?
Keeping on the topic of modern SpongeBob, the HD era of SpongeBob, our next episode is Drive Happy. And this one's an interesting one. It's all about SpongeBob being able to drive, but not because he got his license finally, but because he operates this self-driving car. Definitely give the episode a watch when you get a chance, but first, let's watch these mistakes. Let's expose them. Here's the first one.
All right, Coop, come on in.
So I want you to take a look at some of these shots of SpongeBob's house. And what we'll notice is that SpongeBob has a garage in the back of his house, all right? We've seen it in many episodes before. Here are some examples. But remember this, because it seems that the writer of this episode and the animators forgot about it. That or they've just never watched old school SpongeBob before. Yeah, I'm calling you out, Nickelodeon. Because at one point, SpongeBob saws a hole at the front of his house so that his car, Coop, the self-driving car, can enter and seek shelter. But this is a problem because SpongeBob literally already has a garage, so why would he do this? Like I said, the writer of this episode needs to go back and watch old school SpongeBob, because they do not know what they're talking about at all. And here's one more mistake from this episode.
Oh, that was the best day of non-driving ever.
Now this one could be a case of cartoon logic, but it's still kind of a weird choice, to be honest with you, because it does highlight what could be a mistake. As you guys seen in the clips that we just played, when SpongeBob's house eventually gets this driveway right here, look, Squidward's house is missing, when it should be right here. Based on the angle of this shot, we should be able to see his house, but I guess the animators were feeling a little lazy and just didn't draw it. Again, this one's kind of cartoon logic, but it's still technically a mistake. His house should be right there. Like, look at this shot of Conch Street right here. That's where his house is, right there. So it should be right here in this shot. But anyways, I'm rambling. Let's just keep the spiciness going and head over to another episode with more mistakes. Tons of mistakes coming up. So I imagine some of you guys have pets, and here's a funny question for you guys. What if one day your pet could just start talking? Like, your dog could just start talking to you. Or your cat. I'm kind of more of a dog guy, but your cat could be talking to you too. Well, this is exactly what happens in Chatterbox Gary, with Gary over here becoming quite the Chatterbox. Now, of course, we're gonna get right into the mistakes, is what you guys are here for, but here's some hilarious clips from this episode of Gary talking, like some of the funny stuff he says, and then we're gonna get right into the mistakes.
Hello there, Papa Bob.
How do I look in these pants?
They really bring out the sharp corners of your buttocks. Greetings and salutations, grouchy man.
Yeah, I need to get one of these things right here for my dog, because Gary is cracking me up in this episode. Like, we need a whole spin-off series that's just based on Gary. But anyways, on to the mistakes. Here's the first one. Try to comment it before I reveal the mistake. I want to see if you guys can catch it before I tell you. All right, roll the footage.
Stupid wake!
So as you guys just saw in the clips we just played, Squidward climbs up into SpongeBob's house. And when this happens, we can see that there's this rake right here, all right, by SpongeBob's house. This rake's right here. Remember it. As eventually, when Squidward climbs down from SpongeBob's house, the rake has just magically disappeared. And considering the context of this, like, episode and this scene, while Squidward was sneaking up there, SpongeBob did not come out and put the rake away. The animators drew the rake at first and forgot to draw it the second time, which isn't a big deal because this is a kid's cartoon, so yeah, but still, it's a mistake. Like, get wrecked, Nickelodeon. It's a mistake. And here's another one.
In order to achieve complete brainfulness, one must clear one's mind of all distractions.
Early on in the episode, we get these scenes where Squidward is meditating, all right? And now normally, if we look at Squidward in any other episode, just a random PNG of him, he always has these wrinkles on his forehead. Even back in his first appearance of SpongeBob, he's had the wrinkles. They will disappear when he makes very specific facial expressions, but even that is rare. They very rarely disappear. And when they do, it's usually a mistake. Now, if you guys look while Squidward's meditating, look, his wrinkles on his head are gone. But there could be a reasoning for this. Now, I think it's a mistake, but it could be due to the fact that he's meditating. So he's relaxed, he's calm from meditating, which could result in, like, the forehead wrinkles maybe going away. I don't know. I definitely think it was a mistake, though. Let me know what you guys think in the comments.
Ever notice how big squirrels' teeth are? I mean, hey, you could land a plane on those things.
Nice. Squirrel jokes. I love this episode. I felt bad for Sandy in it because, you know, they're kind of mean to her, but overall, really good episode. And of course, it has a mistake. Let's see if you guys can spot it without my help. All right, guys, before I reveal and explain the mistake, try and comment it to see if you guys spot it first. But all right, roll the footage.
Squirrel! I know, let's try and communicate with it.
Okay, so context. This character right here is Incidental 38B, and you'll notice that their lips are purple, all right? Their lips are always purple too. In any other episode, look at some of these shots, their lips are purple, remember. Well, in the scene you guys just saw, where Sandy's in the grocery store and these three fish just start roasting her, like they start going in on our girl. If we watch Incidental 38B closely, their lips actually flicker orange for about a frame, and then they go back to purple, but for that one frame, look at this, like what? My theory is if you look, this fish over here is orange and has orangish lips, so maybe they got confused and mixed it up. It's only for a frame, but it's still a mistake. And here's another one that you do not want to miss from Squirrel Jokes. Roll the footage.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
I want to give a special thanks to my friend Sandy.
So this right here is my boy Incidental 11, and you'll notice that he has this fin right here, all right? I want you to remember how this fin looks. We even see him in this episode earlier on, and his fin looks the same, right? Well, during the scene you guys saw where the spotlight's put on Sandy after SpongeBob starts roasting her more, look, part of Incidental 11's fin is just missing. It looks incredibly awkward, especially when there are shots with their full fin intact. So weird mistake here. It's not very noticeable unless you're looking for it, but I mean, come on, that is a mistake. And here's another one.
Krabs? Oh, brother, they're so cheap, they can't even pay attention.
It's true! I kimchi!
Forward, and I feel bad for Mr. Krabs over here, but when SpongeBob talks about Krabs in his stand-up, Mr. Krabs over here is missing his legs. I can understand how this happened kind of, but also like considering the angle, they're kind of silly for this one. It's so blatant. Like I remember catching this as a kid. So yeah, no legs on Mr. Krabs. Hey, it happens sometimes. Let's head over to another episode, guys, and stay tuned because the mistakes are gonna get worse as we go. Like it is going to be crazy by the ending of the video. All right, let's head over to the next episode.
Wow, Squidward, you flipped him over. That takes an awful amount of skill.
Season 4 Skill Crane is an interesting episode. The plot, I mean, is very interesting. The idea of them getting a skill crane in the Krusty Krab. Now I want to play one of these. These games are fun. I'll win all of you guys like a SpongeBob plushie, all right? Before that though, let's expose the mistakes in this episode. Here's the first one.
You know this guy?
Yeah, that's Squidward. He's got the magic touch.
Yeah, so this one really cracked me up. I never noticed this as a kid, but now that I've seen it, I cannot unsee it when watching this episode. So this construction worker right here, the short king right here, all right, pay attention to his pants. At first, he's wearing these like grayish, bluish pants right here, as you can see, all right? Remember these? They're kind of fresh. I need a pair. Then the scene changes, but when we go back to it and we see the same short king over here, look, his pants are now like a beige color. I'm doing a side-by-side and they like completely changed his pants. I don't even know how something like this happened. Maybe his pants were originally going to be beige. I don't know. Maybe it's a layering issue because if you look, they're standing on sand, which is a similar color. I don't know, but this is definitely a mistake. And here's another one from Skill Crane.
Need some change? There you are. Say, thanks. No, Mr. Squidward. Thank you.
This one is very easy to miss. So in the footage you guys just saw, when Mr. Krabs is thanking Squidward after giving him change, it happens right before the coins start rolling, but the leftmost end of Mr. Krabs's belt turns gray for a frame. Obviously it's supposed to be black, as we've seen in every other appearance of Mr. Krabs, even in this episode. But for a moment, it is gray for a single frame, and that, my friends, is totally a mistake. Don't worry though, guys, we've got more. We're gonna head over to another episode, and you guys are gonna really like this one because it's from an iconic episode that I love. All right, let's do it. Let's head over to our next episode.
The inner machinations of my mind are an enigma.
I told you guys this episode is iconic, the secret box. This episode is all about Patrick having like this box and he won't show SpongeBob what's inside of his box, and this drives SpongeBob crazy. You know what really drives me crazy though? The mistake in this episode. Roll the footage, please.
This very box is the most secrety secret. Not even Squidward's house.
Yeah, so let's take a look at this PNG of SpongeBob right here, and we'll all notice that he has freckles on his face. He has 3 freckles on each cheek. This is a major part of our boy's design. But there's a massive animation glitch in this episode, as before Patrick mentions Squidward's house, look at SpongeBob's cheek as he has double the amount of freckles. Like, it looks really weird. There's like 6 of them. This has never happened before and has never happened since this episode, so totally a mistake here. Like, look at how weird that looks. Anyways, let's go to the next episode.
I like it here. It's roomy. And best of all, we have this cave all to ourselves.
Up next, we have To Save a Squirrel, and this is actually a pretty good episode. I like this one. SpongeBob and Patrick go off to find Sandy, and the mistakes in this episode are very interesting, especially this first one. Let's see if you guys can spot it.
Carrots! You're making soup out of me!
It was not! It was supposed to be stew!
Did you guys catch it? If not, I do not blame you because this one is going to need some explaining. There is some explaining to do here for sure. It has to do with this puddle right here, as it seems that Patrick goes under the puddle when he's running, during his running animation. And I don't mean like he steps in the puddle like he's stepping in water. I mean like the art for the puddle is literally overlapping his leg like it's on top of his leg, as you can see here. This is 100% a layering issue, where you can see that the puddle's layer should be under Patrick's layer, I guess his body layer, but they messed up and swapped them, which is why this puddle is like on top of Patrick. So weird, man. It's so weird. Not as weird as this next one though, from To Save a Squirrel. Roll the footage. It has to do with one of SpongeBob's pores.
Owned our tent and lost all our water. Patrick, we are gonna need to use our razor-sharp quick wits if we're gonna make it out of here alive.
Gotcha.
Did you guys catch it? This one's actually fairly easy to catch if you pause at the right frame, which is what we just did for you guys, but I got you, don't worry, I'm gonna explain it. When SpongeBob says, Patrick, we are going to need to use our razor-sharp quick wits if we're going to make it out of here alive, one of his holes just becomes transparent for a split second, like you can see right through it and see the sky behind it, which is not supposed to happen. SpongeBob's pores are never just entirely see-through, they're just holes into his body. So being able to see the sky through our yellow spongy boy over here is 100% a mistake, and a fairly bad one actually. But all right, let's keep it moving, guys. Let's head over to another episode.
From now on, the Krusty Krab is open 24 hours a day.
Now we never have to stop working.
Back to the classics. Next up, we've got Graveyard Shift, and this one's a cool one where Squidward and SpongeBob are forced to work like overnight, and they get terrified when this new kid is coming to apply. They think he's the hash-slinging slasher, but he's actually just this cute kid right here. All right, enough spoilers. Here's the first mistake.
The hash-slinging slasher! Get away, get away, get SpongeBob! No matter what I've said, I've always sort of...
So let's take a look at SpongeBob's design, all right? We're looking at this PNG of our favorite yellow spongy boy right here, and you'll notice he has this red line right here under his mouth. It's always been there ever since season 1, and it never really disappears. It's supposed to represent like the under part of his jaw, I think, or the bottom part of his mouth. But anyways, in Graveyard Shift, when Squidward and SpongeBob are shaking under the misconception that the hash-slinging slasher is approaching, that red line under SpongeBob's mouth actually flickers between normal and invisible. I'm playing it in slow motion right here. I zoomed in and I sharpened the footage, and yeah, you can see it kind of just goes back and forth between the two, which is very awkward and weird.
I would like hey!
What?
I said one crusty combo. Don't you speak karate?
We're heading over to season 7 for this next one, and this episode is not liked by the SpongeBob community very much. It's Karate Star. I personally don't think that the episode is that bad, but a lot of fans just do not like this one, mainly due to the plot, but surprise, surprise, the episode itself also has a bunch of mistakes. Here's the first one, and try to guess what the mistake is before I reveal it. Try to comment what the mistake is before I actually say what it is. I know you guys can do it. Anyways, roll that footage.
Hey, look, it's Patrick.
Hiya, SpongeBob.
What are you doing in there? They're nipped.
So this one's weird, all right? Let's take a look at the Krusty Krab from the outside, and you'll notice that the Krusty Krab doors have these yellow handles on them, all right? It's been there ever since the first ever episode, and it's just how the doors look, man, all right? It's how they look. But in the clips you guys just saw, when Patrick chops through the Krusty Krab doors with his karate, or his karate, those yellow handles do not appear on the floor, when they really should. Like, this mistake is a bit of a nitpick on my end, and I can understand why the animators were a little too lazy to put the handles in this shot, but it's still technically a mistake. Here's mistake number 2, though.
Also, lipids and cream.
We're all out. In fact, we're out of everything.
All right, mistake number 3. So as you guys saw in the clips, Patrick over here orders a delicious ice cream, all right? I could go for some ice cream right now. Comment down below, what's your favorite flavor of ice cream? Mine is cookie dough. But anyways, when Patrick orders his large ice cream, the amount of scoops on his ice cream inconsistently change in between shots. For example, when he first gets it, it looks like this, and there's this many scoops. But when the shot changes, look, so do the scoops of ice cream. It even happens again in this shot where the scoops of ice cream have changed again. Super inconsistent. Not a huge deal, but this one is most certainly a mistake, and hey, mistakes happen sometimes. It's a 2D animated show, but I caught ya. And let's catch more heading over to another episode. And guys, stay tuned because the mistakes are only gonna get crazier as we go. I'm saving the craziest mistakes for the end.
Hired him to stand out there and hold that sign.
Oh, he is good.
Can you direct me to the Krusty Krab, please?
You know, we cover a ton of mistakes on this channel, and there are some mistakes that just actually crack me up, and this is one of them. It's from the episode No Hat for Pat, which is kind of an underrated episode, just saying, with Patrick becoming an attraction at the Krusty Krab because he constantly falls and hurts himself. I actually feel kind of bad for Patrick in this episode, but anyways, here's the first mistake. Let's see if you guys can catch it.
I'll show you, SpongeBob. I'll get a job and a hat.
Yeah, this one's pretty straightforward, but the Krusty Krab sign, alright? Normally it looks like this, and as you can see, it says the Krusty Krab. Of course, it's the Krusty Krab sign after all. But in this one shot from No Hat for Pat, look, the sign is misspelled, with the U in Krusty being replaced with a Y. But yeah, that's not how the sign is supposed to look. As a matter of fact, here's a side-by-side of how the sign looks in other episodes, and yeah, you guys can really see the mistake now. So weird, but not as weird as this next episode's set of mistakes. Let's keep it rolling, gang. Next up, we've got Squid Noir, and this episode's really cool. I actually think it's a very underrated episode. Now, we're gonna get into the mistake, but a big part of this episode is that Squidward becomes a detective, and when this happens, the whole art style changes. Everything becomes all black and white, and it starts to feel like a noir film. So we're gonna get into the mistakes, but here are some clips showing you guys this because it's a really cool episode. And then we'll expose the mistakes and take a poop on the episode.
When it came to paying the stupid bill, SpongeBob always tipped 20%.
All right, I'll partner up with you this time.
See, really cool stuff. Now we can just, you know, like I said, we can take a poop on the episode and bring up the mistake, roll the footage.
Billy, don't make me turn this boat around.
I'm so sorry.
This one's actually pretty easy to miss, especially because the scene's in black and white, but when one of Bubble Bass's friends try to comfort him after his suburban dad action figure breaks, the veil that one of the friends wears disappears for like a split second. It happens really fast. It then pops right back on, but look, for this one frame, it's gone. I'm actually gonna play the clip in slow motion again, like look at this, I'm playing it, and like, yeah, like it just disappears randomly. At least he gets it back though, so yeah.
Okay.
Squidward, have you ever seen more lovely French tips?
French tips, huh? All right, pal.
Listen, so when you get old, like your big brother Corey over here, all right, your big brother cartoon Corey, I'm turning old, I'm getting old. Sundays become like a very important day. It's like your day off because you're working all the time. So I'm not surprised that Squidward gets so annoyed at SpongeBob and Patrick for ruining his Sunday off in the episode Good Neighbors.
It's Sunday! A good neighbor doesn't bother me on Sunday.
Sunday?
This is another one that just makes you laugh like a lot, as when Squidward angrily throws SpongeBob out, he's seen wearing his regular clothes. You can see it right here, his regular OG fit. But in the very next shot, dude is now wearing his pajamas. And this happens in a matter of seconds. Like literally he's seen in his regular clothes and then the scene changes and now he's in his pajamas. Weird continuity error, but let's keep it moving, guys. Let's talk about season 7 for a second, more specifically the episode The Play's the Thing. An episode all about Squidward putting on a play at the Krusty Krab. Now, of course, there's loads of mistakes we're going to be covering in this episode and you don't want to miss them, but here are some clips from Squidward's play as it's actually like really funny, and then we'll get right to the mistake.
Promise and potential.
I'd like a double Krabby meal.
Hero.
Hey, my Krabby Patty doesn't have ketchup.
Okay, it's mistake time. That's what you guys are actually here for. We're gonna cover 2. Here's the first one, and try to comment it without me revealing it yet. Let's see if you guys can spot it without me showing you it right away, all right? Roll the footage.
Delivery for Mr. Squidward Tentacles. Hello?
You guys may have caught it, alright? But in the close-up shot of the mailman's letter, the mailman's sleeve is missing, despite the fact that when we see like the full shot of him, he has the sleeve. So in the close-up of the letter, he should also have his sleeve. That's a continuity error. And here's another one from this episode. Here's a hint, it has to do with SpongeBob's teeth. Roll the footage.
Oh, the trash is full. I had better call the garbage truck.
This is a very common mistake throughout SpongeBob, and I try to avoid it because I feel like it's kinda lame, but in this case, it's actually pretty bad. So, while SpongeBob faces towards the camera and begins acting like a garbage truck, look, for about a split second, his teeth turned yellow. You guys already know what I'm gonna say, but SpongeBob, go brush those teeth, boy. 2D animation is really hard, but can you believe that this SpongeBob mistake made it into the final draft of the episode? Or even this mistake right now, if you were to go and pull the episode up and watch it, you could find this mistake right here in the final version of the episode. Well, actually, you don't have to do it because I'm gonna do it for you in today's video. First up, we're kicking things off with a banger of an episode. This one is a classic. It's SpongeBob meets the Strangler. And believe it or not, I've got 4 mistakes in this one episode, dude. Let's get into it.
So we're all alone now.
Just you, me, and the floorboards.
We're completely alone.
Oh, yeah.
In that case...
Okay, so this first one's pretty funny. You guys need to listen closely. So throughout this episode, we get multiple shots of the tattletale strangler having like a regular hand, all right? As you can see, he has 10 fully functional fingers. There are so many shots. Here's another shot where we can see he has like a regular hand with fingers. And here's even another shot where this dude's got fingers, okay? Remember this. As randomly in the episode, in later scenes, his fingers will randomly be replaced with fins. This is a thing in SpongeBob. Some fish have fins, some fish have actual hands, but it doesn't change halfway throughout the episode. This was a major mistake here because again, he has hands as you can see right here. And then in this shot, he has fins. So like, what? Here's mistake number 2 from SpongeBob Meets the Strangler.
Let's booger some more!
This next one's pretty straightforward. First, let's take a look at a PNG of Pearl, all right, Mr. Krabs' daughter, Pearl the whale, right here. And you'll notice that her face has this white area right here. This part of her face is white. Remember, it's white. As when Pearl enters the party for the second time, that white part of her face is randomly colored gray. It's not that big of a deal. Like, you wouldn't notice this while watching the episode, but look at this side by side, and yeah, they got Pearl's design incorrect in this one shot. And poor Pearl, man, hopefully it goes back to normal. I've got more though. Here's mistake number 3.
I'm doing the parking lot for early morning litter patrol. Litter. Looks like someone missed the trash basket, huh?
This one is really, really funny, and this is the type of mistake that once I point it out, every time you rewatch the episode, you'll see it. But okay, so when SpongeBob goes out of the Krusty Krab to clean up litter, if we take a look at his pant legs, there's something like incredibly wrong. That's right, they're black. And this isn't like a design change or something, as like seconds later in the next shot, they go back to brown, which is what they're supposed to be. So yeah, this one shot where they're black is just totally a mistake, dude. Like, I don't even know how they made this mistake. Like, look at this. But yeah, let's head over to mistake number 4 from SpongeBob Meets the Strangler. Like I told you, 4 mistakes in one episode. Damn.
Wait for it.
Okay, this one's light to be fair, but come on, like the past 3 I just covered were really bad mistakes. This one is admittedly light, but it's closer to the beginning of the episode. Now, before SpongeBob puts his slip in to time in or check in for work, this clock right here is moving, all right? Remember, it's moving. But after SpongeBob puts in his slip, the clock just stops moving randomly, which is not what would happen. The clock would just keep on going because it's a regular clock, so like what? This one seems like more of an animation glitch. I don't think it was a mistake. But hey, mistakes happen, glitches happen, and we've got plenty more coming up. And guys, just so you know, the mistakes coming up are even worse than any of the 4 I just covered. So stay tuned. Let's head over to another episode.
Oh, that sounds like a quarter crying for help.
My son just dropped that quarter.
How do I know he didn't steal it?
As you guys know, Squidward can really not stand SpongeBob or Patrick. So just imagine what would happen if he got trapped with them in a well. Well, that's literally what happens in the episode, wishing you well. A really, really good SpongeBob episode from all the way back in like season 4. You guys know what the drill is though. Let's spot some mistakes. Try to comment the mistake before I come back in and like break them down, guys. But yeah, let's do it.
I'm free! Squidward? What were you doing down there? I didn't approve any overtime? Or were you sneaking here?
Okay, so first up, it takes place in the clips you guys just saw when Mr. Krabs says, I didn't approve of any overtime. Let's take a look at Mr. Krabs' eyelashes, and we'll notice that his eyelashes just were not colored in at all. They're just transparent and see-through. Normally, Mr. Krabs' eyelashes look like this. They're like kind of like an orangey color, and more importantly, they're colored in. But the animators slipped up a little bit during this scene because those eyelashes have no color at all, dude. And here's mistake number 2 from Wishing You Well.
Patrick, get off of me! I told you I am claustrophobic!
Nice try, Squidward, but there's no Santa Claus here.
So as I mentioned at the beginning, in this episode, SpongeBob, Squidward, and Patrick all get trapped in this well together, all right? And when they're all trapped down there, you'll notice that Squidward is wearing his brown shirt, all right? This shirt right here, that he literally always wears. Now, here's the problem. We eventually get this shot where Patrick is sitting on Squidward, which would be terrible. Imagine Patrick's big booty sitting on you, that yacht. I'll pass. But in that shot, if you look closely, Squidward is randomly missing his brown shirt, despite wearing it it in all of the other scenes prior and after. Like literally, if we jump to just a couple of seconds before this, he's wearing the shirt, and then when Patrick is sitting on him, his shirt is just gone. So very, very weird mistake here, and I've got more. Here's mistake number 3 from Wishing You Well.
No one's wishes are coming true. Maybe I just didn't dig deep enough. What do you say, Patrick? Are you ready to dig for some magic?
This one is a classic. I might have even covered it in a previous episode before, but when SpongeBob says, "What do you say, Patrick?" for a few frames, his mouth is just gone. Poof, it's just missing. How do you forget to draw a character's mouth? I don't know, but it's gone. There's no mouth there. Let's keep it rolling though, guys, and stay tuned. I'm saving the worst mistake for last, and you don't want to miss the random mistake of the day. Let's keep it moving.
Next bus to Bikini Bottom.
Next bus leaves in 5 seconds.
See, Cartoon Corey, he's always got you guys covered. We're back with more classics. We're going to Rock Bottom, baby. One of my favorite SpongeBob episodes. I think any like 90s kid or 2000s kid loves this episode. Modern SpongeBob is really cool, but Rock Bottom is the perfect example of why old school SpongeBob is the best. Even old school SpongeBob has mistakes though. It's actually where a lot of the mistakes are, guys, is in season 1, 2, and 3, and Rock Bottom is no exception. Here's the first mistake. Let's take a look. This first one is kind of minor. As you guys know, SpongeBob is a sponge, so he has pores all over him. He has these holes, and they're all usually in the exact same place. Like, look at this shot of SpongeBob from the first episode. Look at where the holes are, and then look at this shot from like a modern day episode of SpongeBob, and you'll see if we do a side by side. The holes or pores are always pretty much in the exact same area. Well, in one scene in this episode, when SpongeBob is sneaking up on the bus, look, his holes are missing. He just has like none of them. There might be a few there that I can't see due to the angle, but for the most part, he's missing his pores, which is probably due to some laziness by the animators, but I mean, it was like 1999. I'll give them a break. 2D animation's really hard. Anyways, though, here's mistake number 2 from Rock Bottom.
Home at last.
Don't worry, SpongeBob, I'm coming back for you!
This one is really funny, and once I break it down, it'll really make sense. It might not make a ton of sense at first, but at the very end of the episode, SpongeBob uses his balloon, and he finally gets out of Rock Bottom and is on his way back home to Conch Street. Now, if we look at this shot right here of like Bikini Bottom, and we look at SpongeBob's house in particular, it looks like very different from the rest of the frame, almost as if the image was just digitally inserted onto a pre-existing background. Like, look at SpongeBob's house. It literally looks like Mans went into Photoshop, cut out his house, pressed Control-C to copy, and then just pasted it on this image. Like, it's so clearly just added in post, which isn't a mistake, but looks so weird. Also, if SpongeBob's house is there, then shouldn't Squidward's and Patrick's also be there? Yeah, kind of a messy shot. Let's keep it moving though and head over to something that's actually a pretty bad mistake. Up next, we have the season 5 episode, A Flea in Her Dome, which is all about Sandy bringing a flea back from Texas and it getting like in her dome and just, you know, infesting it. The plot has a lot of potential, but not a lot of fans like this episode. It's just kind of mediocre, if I'm gonna be honest with you, but it has mistakes. It has one mistake, and let's get right into it. This one will actually be really hard for you guys to spot, so I'm gonna ask you guys, try to comment the mistake before I come back in. Like I said though, it's gonna be hard. You can do it though, gang. Roll that footage.
It sure is good to have you back, Sandy.
Did you guys catch it? Because it even took me a couple of seconds, all right? It has to do with this character right here, Incidental 13, who normally has yellow eyes, okay? It's literally like I'm playing Where's Waldo, if any of you guys know what that is, but Incidental 13 is right here, and you'll notice that they messed up and gave both of his eyes a different color. His right eye is yellow, but his left eye, as you can see right here, is white, which is totally a mistake. Like, that never happens. Characters usually either have yellow eyes or white eyes, so it's not that big of a deal, but I got you. Get wrecked. Here's a mistake. I caught you. Get exposed. And we've got more. Let's head over to another classic episode. There are so many good Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy episodes, but one that really stands out to me is Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy 2, which is what we're covering next. See, I wasn't lying. Next up, I had another classic. And this one in particular has 3 mistakes in total. You guys know what to do. Maybe you guys can find the mistakes before I come back in, but roll that footage.
Maybe the conch signal is too much responsibility. But how would you like to spend the rest of the afternoon on patrol?
I may have covered this mistake before, so if I have, I apologize, but when Mermaid Man tells SpongeBob that the conch signal is too much responsibility for him, he's not wrong, to be honest. If we look closely, the television in his house shows a solid red screen, instead of a black screen or a moving picture, which was definitely a mistake on the animator's end. Like, why is it just a solid red screen? It should be black or like a moving image on the screen. It wouldn't just be red. So yeah, totally a mistake. I think they were using the red as somewhat of a green screen to replace footage on the screen. As a matter of fact, let's try it right now.
Maybe the conch signal is too much responsibility. But how would you like to spend the rest of the afternoon on patrol?
Boom, see? Definitely a mistake. That was meant to be like a green screen or something. But anyways, let's head over to another mistake from this episode.
Hey, can I drive?
What do you know about driving the invisible boatmobile?
Like the windshield wipers are right here.
Don't touch that button, it's the...
This one's pretty straightforward, and it's only a mistake because it only happens for one frame and then goes back to normal, but for one frame, in this shot right here, SpongeBob's eyes are covered by his headband. This doesn't happen again in the episode. It seems to be just some sort of layering glitch where like his eyes, the layer of his eyes went underneath the headband, I don't know. But because it only happens for a frame and then goes back to this, it's definitely a mistake. And I've still got one more from Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy 2, roll the footage.
The conch signal! To the invisible boatmobile!
Did you guys catch it? Well, when Mermaid Man says the conch signal, the right side of his belt turns orange for a split second. Here's a PNG of our boy right here, and you can see his belt is never that color, it's this color. So it turning orange in this frame is totally a mistake. And we've got more, but guys, you know what time it is? Do you guys know it's about to go down? It's time for the random mistake of the day, where we take a quick break from SpongeBob mistakes to talk about mistakes in a random cartoon suggested by you. And one that's heavily been suggested is Haley's on it. But yeah, the episode is UFWO, and it has to do with this character right here, Haley, the main character, her overalls, okay? Roll the footage.
So you two are going to be spending all week working together? That's totally perfect!
Did you guys catch it? Well, when Christine is talking to Scott and Haley about Logan for the first time, in the first scene, we can see that Haley's right overall isn't folded, okay? We can see it's not folded. But then literally like a second later, it is now randomly folded. This isn't necessarily a groundbreaking mistake, but it's not like Haley had enough time to unfold it. It seems the animators drew it like this and then forgot and drew it like this, all in a matter of seconds, so yeah. Kind of a weak mistake. Hopefully you guys understand now what I mean. I want to do Haley's on it, but the mistakes that I've found in it, they're just not significant mistakes. So yeah, back to SpongeBob. Do let me know in the comments, guys, some cartoons you want me to cover for random mistake of the day. And make sure to upvote other people's comments. So go to the comments right now, and if you see somebody comment a show that you like, upvote their comment right now. All right, back to SpongeBob. We are back, and we have the episode Grooming Gary, which is a good episode. It's actually kind of an iffy episode, but I like the plot personally. It's all about SpongeBob entering Gary into like a pet competition, and it is not Gary's scene. Like all of the pets there are all like preppy, like spoiled pets, and Gary just does not fit in. Take a look at some of these funny clips, and then we're gonna get right into the mistake.
Look at your luxurious mane. Every self-respecting snail has one. The glossy painted shell.
Yeah, poor Gary. Gary's just, he's a good boy. He doesn't need to go and hang out with all of these prissy, preppy pets. Enough about Gary though, let's expose some mistakes. There's one, and let's see if you guys can catch it.
Wow, Patrick, there's a whole lot of pet loving going on here today. Like these.
Yeah, so this one's pretty straightforward. If you pay close attention throughout the whole episode, the pet's owners will change throughout the episode. For example, at first we can see that this pet is with this owner right here, but then if we fast forward a little bit to later on in the episode, look, that pet is now with a completely different owner. Here's another example. We can see this pet is with this person right here, and if we fast forward a little bit, look, they're now with a completely different owner. So kind of a really bad mistake if you think about it. Here's one more example. You can can see this pet is with this individual right here, remember? Because if we go to this scene, everything is changed and now they're with this owner, so crazy. Up next, we have a fairly new episode, Plain to See. This is from season 13, and to be honest, I actually really liked this episode. What I didn't like though are the 3 mistakes hidden in it. Here's the first one.
What a beautiful morning. Time to check the mail and see who loves.
Yeah, so this one's quick. It's pretty straightforward. If we even go back to the first season and we take a look at SpongeBob's iconic pineapple home, we'll notice that it has this window right here. Remember, it's always there. This window right here, I'm circling it. Well, at the beginning of Plain to See, as you guys just saw, SpongeBob's house is just randomly missing that window. It's weird because in later season 13 episodes, the window is back, so it's not like they removed it. They just forgot to draw it in this one shot, which is totally a mistake. And we've got more. Here's mistake number 2.
An aisle, take the aisle.
Now this mistake is a lot worse. So a big part of this episode is that all the characters are on this plane, and of course there's going to be other passengers on the plane. Now as you guys know, when you go on a plane, if you guys have ever been on a plane before, you're assigned a seat. You don't get to just change seats randomly. But if you pay attention throughout the episode, the seats of certain passengers on the plane will just change randomly throughout the episode. For example, when we first see this dude right here, he's sitting here, but as the episode progresses, he completely changes seats and is over here now. Here's another example. We can see this incidental right here sitting in this seat, but then they just randomly change to over here. Maybe they're upgrading their seats mid-flight, but that's not a thing. This was definitely a mistake. I'm a total nerd for even noticing it, but yeah, let's keep it moving because we got another mistake from Plain to See. Roll that footage. This one's kinda similar to the last one, but it's a lot funnier. So throughout the episode, it's established that this incidental 41, is the pilot of the plane. So throughout the whole episode, this dude is in the pilot seat, flying the plane, keeping us all safe. Well, keeping SpongeBob and the gang safe. But here's the problem, right? We can see him right here as the pilot, incidental 41. But in the scene right before this, we can see him sitting right here in an aisle seat. I know some of you may think that there's multiple of incidentals, but in later seasons, there isn't. There's only supposed to be one of each incidental. To prove this too, take a look at Fred, right? Fred is a full-on character. Like, he's also incidental 1, right? But he's also Fred, the my leg guy, and is his own character. And there isn't like 5 of Fred, there's 1 of him. So yeah, there wouldn't be 2 of incidental 41. Plus guys, there's like 300 plus incidentals at this point. So reusing incidentals in the same scene is extremely lazy. There's no reason for them to do it. Anyways though, I'm ranting. 2D animation is really hard, so we'll give them a break, okay? Like 2D animation's really tough. But let's keep it moving and head over to another episode with more mistakes. Let's do it.
I recognize this goop. It comes from a baby spotted glistening meadow worm.
Dude, those things are worth a fortune.
Did you say fortune?
Next up, we have the episode Pet or Pests, all right? And we're gonna dive right into it. This first mistake is hilarious. Okay, so as you've seen, there's the scene where the worms almost get run over by this truck, right? But if we pause at the right frame and look inside, there's literally no driver in this truck. They just didn't draw a person in the truck operating it. To be fair, they do draw it in a way to kind of hide this fact, but you can tell there's no driver in here and just, yeah, I don't know who's driving this truck. It must be a ghost or just lazy animation. Probably that. Here's another mistake from Pet or Pests.
Great idea you had, Mr. Krabs.
Well, it's like they always say back in the old country, lad.
What's that?
I don't know. I've never been to the old country.
This one is really easy to miss, but towards the end of the episode when SpongeBob and Mr. Krabs are selling the worms, I kind of want one. Would you guys buy one? Let me know in the comments, yes or no. Would you buy one? But yeah, when they're selling them, one of SpongeBob's green holes seems to turn red for like less than a second. It is only for like a couple frames, so it's not that big of a deal. But yeah, that shouldn't be happening. This is probably more likely like an animation glitch as opposed to a straight up mistake. Still pretty interesting though, and let's keep it moving. Let's head over to another episode. Next up, we have Mr. Krabs Takes a Vacation from Season 8. Season 8 is a really weird season. I'm not a big fan of a lot of the episodes from this season, but honestly, this is a really good episode that a lot of fans really like as well, so I do feel bad bringing up the mistakes, but it's time to expose the episode a little bit. Still a good episode, but it's got 3 mistakes. Here's the first one. Roll that footage. Try to comment the mistake before I come back in, okay? You can do it. Let's do this.
Ready for some fun? We are! Who's ready to look at some vacation pictures?
We!
Okay, so for this one, here's some context. Let's take a look at this PNG of Sandy. And you'll notice right away that Sandy's neck, all right, is always brown. It's the same color as her fur. You guys already know where I'm going with this because this is a very common mistake in SpongeBob. It happens like once a season, but yeah, her fur and her neck is always brown. But in that one scene in Mr. Krabs' house, look, Sandy's neck is white randomly instead of brown, making for a very straightforward mistake. How it happened, I don't know, but let's head over to another mistake that's also pretty bad.
Is it bathroom land? Because I could really use a bathroom right now.
Bathroom land! Oh, SpongeBob, you kill me.
This one's super easy to miss, but when Mr. Krabs is laughing and says, bathroom land, oh, SpongeBob, you kill me, his eyelashes are like weirdly transparent instead of brown for a few frames. Very, very, very weird. I don't know what happened here. They just forgot to color in his eyelashes. I'm zooming in and they just look really weird transparent. So big mistake. I got you. And here's another mistake.
Process in which the sheets of silver are pressed. This machine here is where we destroy old money by means of shredding.
All right, one more from Mr. Krabs Takes a Vacation. So throughout the episode, this character right here, Harold, also known as Incidental 40, this also further proves that there isn't multiple of every incidental. There's one of each of them because this is Incidental 40, but he has a name. His name's Harold. So remember this in the future, just saying. But yeah, this guy right here, throughout the episode, he wears a white shirt. But when Bill is explaining that they shred money, pretty much in the same scene, his shirt has just magically changed to a tan shirt. Man just changed his shirt in the middle of the episode, and then it returns back to normal in the next shot, which is wild. So first it looks like this, it's white, then it's tan, and then it goes back to being white all in a matter of like a couple minutes. So yeah, a mistake, and a good one. It's actually a very interesting mistake, and we've got plenty more coming up, so let's keep it rolling. Coming in hot, next up, we've got That Sinking Feeling, which in my opinion is a pretty underrated episode, and you guys definitely agree, this is a very popular Season 7 episode that a lot of fans have liked, especially when there are Season 7 episodes that are poo-poo, they're garbage. That Sinking Feeling though is a pretty good one, so as I always say, I feel bad to expose some mistakes, but Cartoon Corey's gotta do what he's gotta do, right? So I'm gonna roll the footage and try to comment the mistake before I come back in and reveal it, all right? You guys can do it, let's do this.
Too hard.
Did you guys catch it? Well, when SpongeBob and Patrick throw their pickaxes into the air, it happens really, really fast, but SpongeBob's sleeve turns transparent for a couple of frames. Normally his sleeves are white, but in this one shot, it's like see-through, which is totally a mistake, a really bad mistake. The animators just simply forgot to color in one of his sleeves, and it looks really, really rough. And we've got more. Here's another mistake from That Sinking Feeling.
In my yard!
We're not playing in your yard, Squidward. We're playing in our yards.
This one's pretty straightforward, and I'll give Nickelodeon and Rough Draft Korea an excuse here, the people making the episode, that it could be due to the angle in which we see SpongeBob, but even if that's the case, it's still kind of lazy. As in this one shot right here, look, it kind of looks like SpongeBob is missing his right arm. Again, it could be due to the angle, but I mean, you would still be able to see SpongeBob's arm, so I do think that this was a lazy mistake. I don't think it was a blatant one or it was an accident. It was just them being kind of lazy. It happens though, it happens, you know, 2D animation's hard, but guys, you know what time it is? It's time for the random mistake of the day, where we take a quick break from SpongeBob to talk about mistakes in another cartoon suggested by you guys. And I got you, don't worry, Cartoon Corey listens, we're doing Gravity Falls again. The episode is Boys Crazy, and we have 3 mistakes. Roll the first one.
Before you do anything crazy, I want you to hear this. Hope this works.
So this first one's pretty simple, and it kind of applies to all cartoons, but especially in Gravity Falls, all characters only have 3 fingers and 1 thumb. As you guys already know, like a regular hand has 4 fingers and 1 thumb, but in cartoons, even SpongeBob, they usually have 3 fingers and 1 thumb. Remember this. As at the very beginning of the episode of Boys Crazy, when this character right here, Robbie, opens the case to his CD, he has 5 fingers on both hands, which is just not a thing and is 100% a mistake, because if we just fast forward a little bit in the episode and look at Robbie again, look, our dude has 3 fingers and 1 thumb, so they messed up for sure. Not that big of a deal though. Here's mistake number 2.
That is one big hamster tube. Someone's coming! Oh. Ah! Trying hard not to let my brain explode.
This one's really easy to miss, but when Candy, Grenda, and Mabel find the boys inside the cage, there's a quick frame, a very quick frame, a brief frame, where Candy's skirt just disappears. Pretty inappropriate, if you ask me. Like, get that girl her skirt back. This is a kid show. All right, one more from Boys Crazy, guys. One more mistake.
Hi guys. I'm sorry I went bonkers. A catchy song made me realize that you were right. Can you ever forgive me?
This one's kind of similar to the last one, but when Mabel apologizes to Grenda, in one frame, her mouth just completely disappears, like she's got no mouth, it's gone. She ain't gonna be yapping at all anymore, because that mouth is gone. Anyways, let's head back over to SpongeBob, guys, the good old yellow spongy boy. Do comment down below what other cartoons you want me to cover on Random Mistake of the Day in the future, even anime if you want to, anything, let me know. But anyways, back to SpongeBob. This is our last one, we're back to SpongeBob. It is Pat Hart's Squid. And this one's all about Squidward being forced to live at Patrick's house, and you can just imagine how this goes. So here's a bunch of clips because it's hilarious, and then we'll get right into the mistake.
I wouldn't stay with either of you two if the entire ocean was on fire.
So there's a chance. Yeah, I identify myself.
Patrick?
That is correct. May I ask who's calling?
See what I'm saying? Really good episode. I feel bad for Squidward in this one.
My turn!
Okay, so let's take a look at a random PNG of Patrick, and you'll notice that his eyes have a black outline, all right? His eyes have this black outline all around his eyes, like most SpongeBob characters have a black outline. But in the clips you guys just saw, right before Patrick starts dancing, the outline in his eyes just disappears for one frame. Here's a side-by-side of him without it and him with the outline, and yeah, it looks kind of weird. I would never notice this like randomly on my own while watching the episode though, like this is such a small mistake, but it's still technically a mistake, right guys? So I still wanted to mention it even though it's pretty weak. Here's mistake number 2 though.
So, who are you gonna stay with till you find a new house, Squidward? Me or Patrick?
I wouldn't stay with either of you two.
This one I'll make it very quick, but when SpongeBob is talking to Squidward at the beginning of the episode, some of the holes on his face briefly disappear while he's moving. If we look at him in other shots from this episode, this spot right here is the spot that's missing, like these holes right here. And let's do a side-by-side and you'll see how awkward it looks when SpongeBob is missing these holes. Like this is totally a mistake. So we're actually gonna be covering a ton of new season 14 SpongeBob episodes that premiered in the past like 2 weeks today, but let's start things off with a banger, a classic episode, Wormy. We've got 3 really spicy mistakes in this episode. Let's talk about the first one. Roll the footage.
What's that thing? What is that thing?
Yeah, I'm sure you guys caught that one because it is blatant. Like, this is a really bad mistake. So, when SpongeBob and Patrick are about to hide behind the picnic table from Wormy, who's transforming into a butterfly, if we look closely, SpongeBob's left arm disappears for a couple of frames. It isn't for like 1 frame, it's like for like 3, 4, or 5 frames, and it looks rough, dude. This must have been some sort of layering issue where SpongeBob's arm was a separate layer, and then that layer got like disabled or something. Weird mistake. And here's another one.
This just in, a giant monster is attacking Bikini Bottom.
Now this one is just weird. So this character right here is Incidental 26. I'm showing a PNG of him. All right, he doesn't show up too often, but he's a common background character for the most part. Now, in this episode, we get a scene where his eyes sink into his mouth while he's watching TV. And you'll notice his dorsal fin looks like this, all right? It's like a short and spiky one. But the problem is when we seen him seconds prior to this, his dorsal fin looks completely different. At first, it looked like this. So in the next scene, when they drew it like this, it was totally actually a mistake. Here's a side-by-side, like I don't know what was going on here, but a fish's dorsal fin doesn't just change randomly. This was 100% a mistake. And here's another one. This next one's a bit similar to the last one, where it's pretty much like a continuity error revolving around like colors or clothing or design. In this case, it has to do with Incidental 7's dress. As in the scene where the Bikini Bottomites are being chased away by Wormy. It's hilarious, by the way. I cannot believe they're running away from a butterfly or a worm. During this scene, Incidental 7's dress changes from yellow, as you can see here, it's yellow, to gray randomly at one point during the scene, making for another mistake. Like, I highly doubt girl just changed her dress mid-chase scene, especially when she's like freaking out, so yeah, a mistake. And stay tuned, guys, we're gonna head over to another episode. I'm saving some of the craziest mistakes for the ending of the video, so yeah, let's keep it moving.
SpongeBob, why are you so small?
I didn't mean to get small like you, Plankton. It was a freak accident.
Who are you calling a freak?
Next up, we have a very rough episode. It's The Incredible Shrinking Sponge, which, you know, the plot of the episode is cool. SpongeBob is shrunken down and like has to do a bunch of stuff, but the episode itself is pretty weak. It does, of course, have some mistakes, and the one mistake we're going to be covering is actually pretty whack. Let's see if you guys can spot it. Here's a hint. It has to do with the galley grub menu. All right, roll the footage. Alright, so let's go back to season 1 for a second and take a look at the galley grub menu, more specifically how Patty in Krabby Patty is spelt. It's always spelt as P-A-T-T-Y, but one common mistake that's happened in a few episodes throughout SpongeBob's entire runtime, like the history of the show, is that sometimes Patty in Krabby Patty will be misspelt on the menu, and in this episode, The Incredible Shrinking Sponge, this happens right here. Look, Patty is weirdly spelt as P-A-T-T-I-E, which, yeah, is a massive mistake. Like, that's not how it's spelt at all. Okay, that one was kinda weak. It's still a mistake, so let's head over to another episode that actually has a good mistake in it. This one's really gonna shock you guys.
It reminds me of my mother's cooking when I was but a boy. I'm filled with childish glee.
Alright, it's time for those season 14 episodes I was talking about. The first one is Momageddon, and this episode is hilarious. Season 14's been pretty solid so far, and this is one of the best episodes so far, in my opinion. Squidward was also a good one, but yeah, Momageddon, really, really good episode. But of course, even a good episode like this one has a mistake. There's actually two, and they're pretty spicy. Here's the first one.
I demand a refund!
Okay, that's enough. There'll be no refunds.
Where's the love?
So this right here is Incidental 47. I'm showing a PNG of him, and what we really want to do here is remember his colors, all right? Let's even take a look at him in this episode, Momageddon, and you'll see he's rocking his regular colors, all right? He looks like good old-fashioned Incidental 47. However, though, in the scene where Mr. Krabs tells the angry mob that there'll be no refunds, what a cheapskate. If you look, we can see Incidental 47 again, but there's something up with his colors. They've completely changed. They're actually completely swapped with another character. This is Incidental 186, and look at his colors, and then look at Incidental 47's colors in that one scene, and yeah, totally a mistake here. They got their colors like mixed up, and it's hilarious. And here's another one from Momageddon. This one's actually like really bad.
Mom! Mom!
Mom!
Hey, Mom!
Yeah, this episode's so funny. I love how all of the moms come together. It just really cracks me up. But anyways, in the scene you guys just saw, when the moms put lids on the cups of lemonade, you'll notice that Betsy's hands are actually the same color as Mrs. Tentacles, which is like totally a mistake. Betsy Crab is a crab and she's red like Mr. Krabs, so her hands should be red and not like that turquoise, like greenish bluish color that Squidward and other squids are in SpongeBob. So yeah, massive mistake. I have no idea why her hands are that color. And guys, let's keep it moving and head over to another episode. The mistakes we've covered so far are nothing compared to the ones coming up. So yeah, stay tuned. Let's keep it moving.
You got big! SpongeBob,
I've been rolling, and he got big!
Is he dying?
No, you silly.
Next up, we have another season 14 episode. This is a very new episode. I think it premiered on like Valentine's Day. Me saying that has already dated this video, but anyways, the episode is Pet the Rock, and this is also a pretty good episode from season 14. With Patrick over here, our favorite starfish, getting himself a new pet rock, which is pretty cool. Also, didn't this happen before? I swear back in the like season 2 or 3 episode where they race their snails, it's like the Great Snail Race, that Patrick has a pet rock, so kind of a reference here. But we're not here for references, we're here for mistakes. And here's the first one. I will admit I'm kind of nitpicking when it comes to this one, but this picture right here shows Patrick and his family from the Patrick Star Show, but it's actually missing a ton of details. Let's start with Bunny over here, all right? Because the picture of the family from Pet the Rock is missing the patterns normally seen on Bunny's clothing. The same thing with Patrick. I'm doing a side-by-side of each character, and Patrick, it's the same thing. The patterns are missing, but also Grandpat over here is missing one of his teeth. So yeah, a bit of a messy scene, but not that big of a deal. I'm kind of nitpicking. It's meant to be like a zoomed out shot of the picture, so I'm definitely over analyzing it. So let's move on to another episode with some actual crazy mistakes.
I need to erase this from my mind. Stop.
Keeping on the topic of modern SpongeBob, the HD era of SpongeBob, our next episode is Drive Happy. And this one's an interesting one. It's all about SpongeBob being able to drive, but not because he got his license finally, but because he operates this self-driving car. Definitely give the episode a watch when you get a chance, but first, let's watch these mistakes. Let's expose them. Here's the first one.
I want to be inside.
All right, Coop, come on in.
So I want you to take a look at some of these shots of SpongeBob's house. And what we'll notice is that SpongeBob has a garage in the back of his house, all right? We've seen it in many episodes before. Here are some examples. But remember this, because it seems that the writer of this episode and the animators forgot about it. That or they've just never watched old school SpongeBob before. Yeah, I'm calling you out, Nickelodeon. Because at one point, SpongeBob saws a hole at the front of his house so that his car, Coop, the self-driving car, can enter and seek shelter. But this is a problem because SpongeBob literally already has a garage, so like why would he do this? Like I said, the writer of this episode needs to go back and watch old school SpongeBob because they do not know what they're talking about at all. And here's one more mistake from this episode.
Oh, hi, Mrs. Hobbs.
SpongeBob, you're not driving!
I know, isn't it great?
Now this one could be a case of cartoon logic, but it's still like kind of a weird choice to be honest with you because it does highlight what could be a mistake. As you guys seen in the clips that we just played, when SpongeBob's house eventually gets this driveway right here, look, Squidward's house is missing when it should be right here. Like based on the angle of this shot, we should be able to see his house, but I guess the animators were feeling a little lazy and just didn't draw it. Again, this one's kind of cartoon logic, but it's still technically a mistake. Like his house should be right there. Like look at this shot of Conch Street right here. That's where his house is, right there. So it should be right here in this shot. But anyways, I'm rambling. Let's just keep the spiciness going and head over to another episode with more mistakes. Tons of mistakes coming up.
Now, what will we call this eating dinner and watching theater?
Dinner theater?
We'll call it Singy Eaty Time.
Let's talk about season 7 for a second, more specifically the episode The Play's The Thing, an episode all about Squidward putting on a play at the Krusty Krab. Now, of course, there's loads of mistakes we're going to be covering in this episode and you don't want to miss them, but here are some clips from Squidward's play as it's actually like really funny, and then we'll get right to the mistake.
An octopus was born.
I'd like a double Krabby meal with extra kelp.
Go away, shoo, go away. At the Krusty Krab, his talent was wasted.
Excuse me, can I get a refill?
No, you can't.
Okay, it's mistake time. That's what you guys are actually here for. We're gonna cover 2. Here's the first one, and try to comment it without me revealing it yet. Let's see if you guys can spot it without me showing you it right away, all right? Roll the footage.
Delivery for Mr. Squidward Tentacles. Hello?
You guys may have caught it, alright? But in the close-up shot of the mailman's letter, the mailman's sleeve is missing, despite the fact that when we see like the full shot of him, he has the sleeve. So in the close-up of the letter, he should also have his sleeve. That's a continuity error. And here's another one from this episode. Here's a hint, it has to do with SpongeBob's teeth. Roll the footage.
A stray wrapper in my kitchen? Oh, the trash is full. I had better call the garbage truck.
This is a very, very, very common mistake throughout SpongeBob, and I try to avoid it because I feel like it's kinda lame, but in this case, it's actually pretty bad. So, while SpongeBob faces towards the camera and begins acting like a garbage truck, look, for about a split second, his teeth turned yellow. You guys already know what I'm gonna say, but SpongeBob, go brush those teeth, boy. Also though, do you guys know what time it is? You guys know? Can you guys guess? It's time for the random mistake of the day, where we take a very quick break from SpongeBob to talk about a mistake from a random cartoon suggested by you guys. And then don't worry, we get right back to SpongeBob. But it's fun to explore other cartoons, and real quick guys, comment down below what cartoons you want me to cover in the random mistake of the day. For today, let's do Paw Patrol. We've done it in the past, but I want to do it again. The episode in question is Pups Save the Paw Patroller, and for context, it has to do with this character right here, Rocky. And here's a hint, it has to do with his eye color, alright? Roll the footage.
Let's try his jets.
Yeah, so it's at the very beginning of this episode, but when Rocky is seen working on this robo-dog, there is one shot of him with extremely red eyes. You can see it right here, those eyes are red. When in every other shot we've seen of Rocky in this episode, and just in general, here's a PNG of Rocky, his eyes are like a normal brown color. So when he's animated with red eyes here, it is totally a mistake. His eyes are supposed to be brown. And let's head back over to SpongeBob. Again though guys, do let me know in the comments other cartoons you want us to cover in the random mistake of the day segment, all right? Let me know, but let's keep it moving back to SpongeBob, baby. So I imagine some of you guys have pets, and here's a funny question for you guys. What if one day your pet could just start talking? Like your dog could just start talking to you. Or your cat. I'm kind of more of a dog guy, but your cat could be talking to you too. Well, this is exactly what happens in Chatterbox Gary, with Gary over here becoming quite the Chatterbox. Now, of course, we're gonna get right into the mistakes is what you guys are here for, but here are some hilarious clips from this episode of Gary talking, like some of the funny stuff he says, and then we're gonna get right into the mistakes.
Hello there, Papa Bob. I dream I'm flying above it all, while I breathe fiery destruction. They really bring out the sharp corners of your buttocks.
Yeah, I need to get one of these things right here for my dog, because Gary is cracking me up in this episode. Like, we need a whole spin-off series that's just based on Gary. But anyways, on to the mistakes. Here's the first one. Try to comment it before I reveal the mistake. I want to see if you guys can catch it before I tell you. All right, roll the footage.
Stupid rake!
So as you guys just saw in the clips we just played, Squidward climbs up into SpongeBob's house. And when this happens, we can see that there's this rake right here, all right, by SpongeBob's house. This rake's right here. Remember it. As eventually, when Squidward climbs down from SpongeBob's house, the rake has just magically disappeared. And considering the context of this, like, episode and this scene, while Squidward was sneaking up there, SpongeBob did not come out and put the rake away. The animators drew the rake at first and forgot to draw it the second time, which isn't a big deal because this is a kid's cartoon, so yeah, but still, it's a mistake. Like, get wrecked, Nickelodeon. It's a mistake. And here's another one.
In order to achieve complete brainfulness, one must clear one's mind of all distractions.
Early on in the episode, we get these scenes where Squidward is meditating, all right? And now normally, if we look at Squidward in any other episode, just a random PNG of him, he always has these wrinkles on his forehead. Even back in his first appearance of SpongeBob, he's had the wrinkles. They will disappear when he makes very specific facial expressions, but even that is rare. They very rarely disappear. And when they do, it's usually a mistake. Now, if you guys look while Squidward's meditating, look, his wrinkles on his head are gone. But there could be a reasoning for this. Now, I think it's a mistake, but it could be due to the fact that he's meditating. So he's relaxed, he's calm from meditating, which could result in like the forehead wrinkles maybe going away. I don't know. I definitely think it was a mistake though. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. For now though, let's head over to another episode and find more SpongeBob mistakes.
Tomatoes, what's the deal on those things? And what does that make ketchup?
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
Nice. Squirrel jokes? I love this episode. I felt bad for Sandy in it because, you know, they're kind of mean to her, but overall, really, really, really good episode, and of course, it has a mistake. Let's see if you guys can spot it without my help, alright guys? Before I reveal and explain the mistake, try and comment it to see if you guys spot it first. But alright, roll the footage.
It's the stupid squirrel!
Let's try and communicate with it.
Okay, so context. This character right here is Incidental 38B, and you'll notice that their lips are purple, alright? Their lips are always purple too. In any other episode, look at some of these shots, their lips are purple, remember. Well, in the scene you guys just saw, where Sandy's in the grocery store and these three fish just start roasting her, like they start going in on our girl. If we watch Incidental 38B closely, their lips actually flicker orange for about a frame, and then they go back to purple, but for that one frame, look at this, like what? My theory is if you look, this fish over here is orange and has orangish lips, so maybe they got confused and mixed it up. It's only for a frame, but it's still a mistake. And here's another one that you do not want to miss from Squirrel Jokes. Roll the footage.
Seriously, folks, I want to give a special thanks to my friend Sandy. Sandy, don't you see? The crowd loves these.
So this right here is my boy Incidental 11, and you'll notice that he has this fin right here, alright? I want you to remember how this fin looks. We even see him in this episode earlier on, and his fin looks the same, right? Well, during the scene you guys saw where the spotlight's put on Sandy after SpongeBob starts roasting her more, look, part of Incidental 11's fin is just missing. It looks incredibly awkward, especially when there are shots with their full fin intact. So weird mistake here. It's not very noticeable unless you're looking for it, but I mean, come on, that is a mistake. And here's another one.
Krabs? Oh, brother, they're so cheap, they can't even pay attention.
I feel bad for Mr. Krabs over here, but when SpongeBob talks about Krabs in his stand-up, Mr. Krabs over here is missing his legs. I can understand how this happened, kind of, but also, like, considering the angle, they're kind of silly for this one. It's so blatant. Like, I remember catching this as a kid. So, yeah, no legs on Mr. Krabs. Hey, it happens sometimes. Let's head over to another episode, guys, and stay tuned, because the mistakes are gonna get worse as we go. Like, it is going to be crazy by the ending of the video. All right, let's head over to the next episode.
Oh boy, what fun.
You lose.
Did you see that, SpongeBob? I almost got that on my first try.
Season 4 Skill Crane is an interesting episode. The plot, I mean, is very interesting. The idea of them getting a skill crane in the Krusty Krab. Now I want to play one of these. These games are fun. I'll win all of you guys like a SpongeBob plushie, all right? Before that, though, let's expose the mistakes in this episode. Here's the first one.
You know this guy?
Yeah, that's Squidward.
Yeah, so this one really cracked me up. I never noticed this as a kid, but now that I've seen it, I cannot unsee it when watching this episode. So this construction worker right here, the short king right here, all right, pay attention to his pants. At first, he's wearing these like grayish, bluish pants right here, as you can see, all right? Remember these? They're kind of fresh. I need a pair. Then the scene changes, but when we go back to it and we see the same short king over here, look, his pants are now like a beige color. I'm doing a side-by-side and they like completely changed his pants. I don't even know how something like this happened. Maybe his pants were originally going to be beige. I don't know. Maybe it's a layering issue, because if you look, they're standing on sand, which is a similar color. I don't know, but this is definitely a mistake. And here's another one from Skill Crane.
Need some change? There you are.
Gee, thanks.
No, Mr. Squidward. Thank you.
This one is very easy to miss, and me and the team had to rewatch it a couple of times to actually catch the mistake. So in the footage you guys just saw, when Mr. Krabs is thanking Squidward after giving him change, it happens right before the coins start rolling, but the leftmost end of Mr. Krabs's belt turns gray for a frame. Obviously it's supposed to be black, as we've seen in every other appearance of Mr. Krabs, even in this episode. But for a moment, it is gray for a single frame, and that, my friends, is totally a mistake. Don't worry though, guys, we've got more. We're gonna head over to another episode, and you guys are gonna really like this one because it's from an iconic episode that I love. All right, let's do it. Let's head over to our next episode.
The inner machinations of my mind are an enigma.
I told you guys this episode is iconic, the secret box. This episode is all about Patrick having like this box, and he won't show SpongeBob what's inside of his box, and this drives SpongeBob crazy. You know what really drives me crazy though? The mistake in this episode. Roll the footage, please.
Inside this very box is the most secrety secret in all of secretdom.
Yeah, so let's take a look at this PNG of SpongeBob right here, and we'll all notice that he has freckles on his face. He has 3 freckles on each cheek. This is a major part of our boy's design. But there's a massive animation glitch in this episode, as before Patrick mentions Squidward's house, look at SpongeBob's cheek as he has double the amount of freckles. Like, it looks really weird. There's like 6 of them. This has never happened before and has never happened since this episode, so totally a mistake here. Like, look at how weird that looks. Anyways, let's go to the next episode.
We got fresh water, a rugged tent,
and a nice fire to keep us warm.
Hey, where'd you get the firewood? You burned our food supply!
Up next, we have To Save a Squirrel, and this is actually a pretty good episode. I like this one. SpongeBob and Patrick go off to find Sandy, and the mistakes in this episode are very interesting, especially this first one. Let's see if you guys can spot it.
Carrots! You're making soup out of me!
It was not! It was supposed to be stew!
Did you guys catch it? If not, I do not blame you, because this one is going to need some explaining. There is some explaining to do here for sure. It has to do with this puddle right here, as it seems that Patrick goes under the puddle when he's running, during his running animation. And I don't mean like he steps in the puddle like he's stepping in water. I mean like the art for the puddle is literally overlapping his leg, like it's on top of his leg, as you can see here. This is 100% a layering issue, where you can see that the puddle's layer should be under Patrick's layer, I guess his body layer, but they messed up and swapped them, which is why this puddle is like on top of Patrick. So weird, man. It's so weird. Not as weird as this next one though, from To Save a Squirrel. Roll the footage. It has to do with one of SpongeBob's pores.
Ruined our tent and lost all our water. Patrick, we are gonna need to use our razor-sharp quick wits if we're gonna make it out of here alive.
Did you guys catch it? This one's actually fairly easy to catch if you pause at the right frame, which is what we just did for you guys, but I got you. Don't worry, I'm gonna explain it. When SpongeBob says, Patrick, we are going to need to use our razor-sharp quick wits if we're going to make it out of here alive, one of his holes just becomes transparent for a split second. Like, you can see right through it and see the sky behind it, which is not supposed to happen. SpongeBob's pores are never just entirely see-through. They're just holes into his body. So being able to see the sky through our yellow spongy boy over here is 100% a mistake, and a fairly bad one actually. But all right, let's keep it moving, guys. Let's head over to another episode. Coming in hot, we've got Blackened Sponge. This is a weird SpongeBob episode. The title's very weird, just saying. Blackened Sponge, but it's all about SpongeBob getting a black eye and lying about it. He actually like slips and hurts his eye, but he goes and lies to everyone and tells them that he got in a fight with some dude. SpongeBob, you're such a capper. As a matter of fact, we're gonna get into the mistakes, but I want you guys to hear SpongeBob's elaborate little lie here about what actually happened.
When a wanton cry of distress pounded against my eardrum, I quickly located the source of the cry. Don't worry, I'll save you. The hurler was none other than Jack and Crazy Fish. With cat-like reflexes, I preempted his attack, but the scoundrel had me sabotaged, and I fell face down on a pile of extra-large staples. He lunged at me, but I got him in the ribs with my novelty feather duster. Down he fell like a mighty oak. Jack and Crazy Fish burst into tears. The force of his crying was so strong, I had to take evasive action. One of the blasts went haywire and hit me right in the face. And that's how I got this black eye.
Yeah, so that's what SpongeBob says is what happens. Again, we're gonna get into the mistakes, but this is what actually happened. Look.
Ooh, what a relief. For a second there, I thought I gave myself a black eye.
Yeah, SpongeBob, you are a massive liar, and guys, here's the first mistake from this episode.
Hello, little fishes.
Hi, Sandy.
Hello.
You guys probably caught this one, but when SpongeBob says, "Hi, Sandy," look, part of his white shirt is black, when of course it's supposed to be white. I don't know what happened here, but it's definitely not supposed to be black. Here's mistake number 2 from Blackened Sponge.
SpongeBob is 13 and a half minutes late for duty. Well, looks like I was right about the accident part.
This one is definitely going to need some explaining, but it's pretty rough. So, when Incidental 107, this guy right here, first appears in Mr. Krabs' comments about how late SpongeBob is, Incidental 107 is seen in his normal color scheme, alright? This is how he's always drawn in color. However though, when SpongeBob eventually comes in and walks past Incidental 107, who's with Incidental 14 at the time, look. Incidental 107 is now just a completely different color. They just completely changed his design, and there's only one of Incidental 107, so this was absolutely, positively, 100% a mistake. And believe it or not, I've got another one from this episode. 3 in 1 episode is wild.
And karate kicked his hairpiece right off of its snaps. He was so ashamed, he ran all the way home, leaving behind a pool of tears.
Did you guys catch it? Well, when Jack M. Crazyfish, the dude that SpongeBob supposedly beat up when he, in SpongeBob's story, runs all the way home, leaving behind a pool of tears, major cap, we can see that SpongeBob is wearing his Krusty Krab hat. But guys, what's missing? Come on, let me know in the comments what's missing from his hat. I'm gonna give you guys like 5 seconds to figure it out. Yeah, he's missing the anchor on his hat. Massive mistake. Let's keep it going though, gang. Let's head over to another episode, and don't worry, random mistake of the day is coming up soon.
Then who was flickering the lights?
Nosferatu! Back to the classics. Next up, we've got Graveyard Shift, and this one's a cool one where Squidward and SpongeBob are forced to work like overnight, and they get terrified when this new kid is coming to apply. They think he's the hash-slinging slasher, but he's actually just this cute kid right here. All right, enough spoilers. Here's the first mistake.
SpongeBob, no matter what I've said, I've always sort of liked you.
Squidward, I used your clarinet to unclog my toilet.
So let's take a look at SpongeBob's design, all right? We're looking at this PNG of our favorite yellow spongy boy right here, and you'll notice he has this red line right here under his mouth. It's always been there ever since season 1, and it never really disappears. It's supposed to represent like the under part of his jaw, I think, or the bottom part of his mouth. But anyways, in Graveyard Shift, when Squidward and SpongeBob are shaking under the misconception that the hash-slinging slasher is approaching, that red line under SpongeBob's mouth actually flickers between normal and invisible. I'm playing it in slow motion right here. I zoomed in and I sharpened the footage, and yeah, you can see it kind of just goes back and forth between the two, which is very awkward and weird. You know what's also gonna be weird though? The random mistake of the day, a quick segment in every video where we take a moment to talk about mistakes from a random cartoon suggested by you guys, and then we go right back to SpongeBob. future and comment other cartoons you want me to cover in the random mistake of the day. All right, back to SpongeBob. Back to SpongeBob, baby, and we're gonna be doing the episode Funny Pants, where SpongeBob is tricked into thinking that he's lost his laugh. We're gonna get into the mistakes, but take a look at this compilation of scenes where SpongeBob just cannot laugh anymore. It's actually really sad. Poor SpongeBob, dude. Like, his laugh is kind of iconic. I'm gonna play just a soundbite of his laugh. Dude, it's annoying, but it's iconic. It's a big part of his design, so I feel bad for him for losing his laugh. I also feel bad for the animators, though, for these mistakes. Here's the first one.
Hey, you laugh just like me!
So this one happens at the very end of the episode, and you know, it's kind of a tricky one. But at the very ending of the episode, when Squidward runs off of his bed, if we slow the footage down and look, it seems like he's walking on air for a moment. This might have been for comedic effect or something, but I do think this was a bit of an error. We don't know for sure though, so let's head over to mistake number 2 that's a lot more entertaining.
There he goes, off to share his laughter with the world.
This one's also near the ending of the episode, but when Squidward bursts through the hospital wall near the end, look, the heart monitor is still running, which shouldn't happen because Squidward is no longer like connected to the heart monitor. Weird. All right, one more from this episode.
Look, he's waking up.
Where am I?
Did you guys catch it? So let's take a look at Sandy right here and look at her design. A big part of it is on her like white suit right here. There's this acorn symbol right here. I'm circling it. Well, when Squidward wakes up from his coma, look, both Sandy's zipper and the badge from her suit are just gone. The animators just didn't draw it. I mean, to be fair, Mr. Krabs' hand is in front of it, but they should have at least drawn the zipper. So yeah. First up is the episode Choir Boys, which has some wild mistakes. Roll the clips.
SpongeBob, I will be late to practice with all of your tomfoolery slowing me down.
Did ya catch it? As when Squidward rips off SpongeBob's fake mustache, just saying, SpongeBob looks pretty cool with a mustache. He should consider growing one out. But when Squidward rips it off, the latter's right arm is missing for a bit. That arm is gone. Look at it, it's missing, it's disappeared. Talk about a mistake, guys. Let's keep it moving though and head over to another mistake you've never seen before, so stay tuned.
Aging process by 30 years per second.
Let's keep it going with SpongeBob Season 6. You know, it isn't the best season, but what I can say for sure is a lot of Season 6 episodes have mistakes. I don't know what was going on, if the animators got lazy in Season 6, but we're going to be talking about Pineapple Fever. Here is the first mistake.
Did you hear that?
Oh, it's just Patrick gnawing on his can.
So take a look at this can that Patrick is chewing on, okay? When Patrick first gets the can, it has a yellow label, as you can see right here. I'm zooming in on it, I'm circling it, as you can see, and remember guys, that label is yellow. But when SpongeBob says that the noise was Patrick chewing on the can, it now has a red label. Like, what? How did it change randomly? First it was yellow, then halfway through it changes to red. And it isn't a different can. I know this for sure. It's the same can. So the animators must have messed up and forgot that it was originally yellow. Mistakes happen, and here's another mistake in this episode. Did ya catch it? Well, if you did, I'm impressed because this one is easy to miss. But when SpongeBob looks at the chalk Squidward threw down, his lower lip is black when it's supposed to be red. I'm zooming in here, and yeah, his lower lip is black. That's SpongeBob, man. You need to go have a shower or something. I don't know how your bottom lip is black. That is gnarly, dude. But yeah, 2 mistakes in this one episode, guys. Jeez. Let's keep it moving, though, and head over to another episode. Stay tuned, guys, because I'm saving some of the craziest mistakes for last, and you don't want to miss them.
Exact change. Exactly. Clink, 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 clink.
Enough with the pennies! please!
Next up, let's head over to season 12 and talk about a fairly good episode that I personally enjoyed, that being Squid on a Bus, which I mean, the title's pretty self-explanatory for this one, guys. It's about Squidward taking the bus. It's a good episode, but like most episodes of SpongeBob, it does have 3 mistakes hidden in it, and these mistakes are really bad, guys. Here's mistake number 1.
Where's that bus? I've been waiting for almost an hour. Late again. 1 coin.
So in the opening of the episode, Squidward appears to be wearing a watch on his right wrist, right? You can see it right here. I'm zooming in on it. But seconds later, when the bus door opens, Squidward's watch is just missing now. I doubt the dude took it off to go in the bus. What I think happened is in this first shot right here, the animators drew him with a watch, but then the animators forgot about the watch because in this scene, the watch is just gone. Poof, it went missing. And that's not the only thing missing in the beginning of the episode, as there's another mistake that's kind of similar to this one. Roll the footage again.
I've been waiting for almost an hour.
Almost an hour, he says.
Did ya catch it? Well, take a look at this shot of Conch Street right here. As you can see, it goes Patrick's house, Squidward's house, and then good old SpongeBob's house right here, that old-fashioned pineapple house. Now I'm hungry. But in that opening scene, where is SpongeBob's house? It should be right there. You could say that, you know, it just wasn't on the screen, but the distance between Squidward's house and SpongeBob's house is not that wide, and I'm pretty sure the animators were just feeling kind of lazy in this scene and didn't draw SpongeBob's house, which is still technically a mistake. But wait, there's more. Here's mistake number 3. Let's see if you guys can catch this one. Man, 3 mistakes in one episode is like really bad. Nickelodeon be slacking, boy. But take a look at this shot from inside the bus when the bus starts rocking. As you can see, there are passengers inside. They're chilling inside the bus. But when we get the same shot from the outside view, why is Squidward the only one on the bus? The passengers just disappeared? They're gone? Poof? Talk about a mistake, a continuity mistake, and let's keep the video moving, guys, and head over to episode number 4. Here are 2 really quick mistakes that happen in the season 6 episode, Sandcastles in the Sand. Keep those eyes peeled, roll the footage.
Get up, Patrick, it's time.
So take a look at this shot of SpongeBob's house right here, his iconic pineapple home. I want some pineapple now. I always say this, but you know, pineapple's really good. But anyways, as you can see, SpongeBob's iconic pineapple home has a chimney on it. Even take a look at this footage from season 1. It's always been there. He's always had a chimney. But in Sandcastles in the Sand, when SpongeBob leaves his house, where is it? Where'd it go? His house is missing its chimney, and it looks really weird. This was definitely a mistake. I guess whoever animated this part of the episode forgot that SpongeBob's house has a chimney. So yeah, not that big of a deal, but definitely a mistake. And here's another one. Like I said, it's really quick.
Hey, wait! This is not our stop! No one's ever gonna find us out here!
So as you just seen, SpongeBob and Patrick get kicked off of the bus beside this road. I want you guys to remember this road right here. I'm circling it, I'm zooming in, there is a road right here, all right? Then SpongeBob says, no one is ever going to find us out here, and now this road has just disappeared, like it's gone. The road is literally just gone. It was there in this shot, now it's gone. I don't know what happened, but talk about some cartoon logic for sure. Again, I'm always gonna say, guys, this is a cartoon, so I know why this happened, but it was some weird continuity, and every time I watch this episode now, I notice it, and it looks really rough. But anyways, let's move over to another episode, let's go. You know, Plankton is a very evil guy, but have you ever wondered what would happen if SpongeBob went to work at the Chum Bucket? Well, this is exactly what happens in Welcome to the Chum Bucket, a season 2 banger. Here are some clips from the episode. It's really funny.
I lost you!
What?
I bet your contract, and I lost.
Here's the thing, guys. Most of you guys listening to this are young, so I'm not going to talk about bathing too much, but as you know, when you take a bath, you don't wear clothes, right? You take off all of your clothes, okay? Well, when SpongeBob is seen bathing in the Krusty Krab kitchen during this scene while eating an ice cream, we can see his sleeves, which is totally a mistake. SpongeBob is in the bath. He shouldn't have his sleeves on his shirt. That just makes no sense. This was like a major mistake. It's like the animators forgot to take off the sleeves when they drew this one. So yeah, a pretty bad mistake. But let's keep it moving and head over to another mistake in this episode.
This kitchen's not the same without you. It's just a
Now for this one to really make sense, I want you guys to take a look at this shot of the chum bucket, okay? So for one, as you can see, the chum bucket writing is red, okay? It's red. And the chum bucket writing is on the front of the restaurant, directly above the door. Right here, I'm circling it, okay? Now, in this one shot of Welcome to the Chum Bucket during the song section, it's a really good song by the way, the Chum Bucket logo is on the side of the building instead of being above the doors where it usually sits. Furthermore, the text is also blue. Now this might be due to it being nighttime, but it being dark out wouldn't change the entire color of like the text. It would still be red like it's supposed to be in this shot, but here it's blue and the text is on the wrong side. So this was just a weird one. I wouldn't call this a mistake. The animators probably just did this to make their lives easier, but that's not how it's supposed to look, guys. Next up is the episode No Free Rides. This is a classic episode, and just to refresh your memory, here are some clips from the episode.
I'd never let you have this boat, not even if you were Mrs. Puff.
What a classic episode, am I right? I love this one. Now, what I missed when I was a kid though were the mistakes in this episode. Here's the first mistake: keep those eyes peeled.
Educational television!
Did ya catch it? Now, this is more of an animation error, and it's not that big of a deal because it's a cartoon, but when SpongeBob gets grated by cheese graters, that would be a terrible way to die. His eyes come out of the cheese graters several times. This would only happen one time. His eyes would go through once, they'd be shredded. It's not like SpongeBob has multiple pairs of eyes, so this was a bit of a weird mistake on the animator's end. And that's not it for this episode. I have another one.
Booty, you're cold. Take my socks. Oh, Bodie, I'm always gonna take care of you.
So, as you just seen, SpongeBob gives the boat his socks, alright? He takes them off and gives them to the boat. But then, how does he have them back on as soon as he hops into the boat's side? Again, this is just cartoon logic, right? It's fine, but it's still a bit of a funny continuity error. It's like the dude literally just gave him his socks, now somehow he magically has them back on. Whatever.
For a second there, I mistook you for a threat, but you're just a dirty little man. So long, shrimp!
Kicking things off is the season 3 banger, The Algae's Always Greener. Here's the first mistake, roll the clip.
Even if I have to come back tomorrow, and the next day, and the next day, and the next day, and the next day, and the next day.
Okay, so see this version of Mr. Krabs right here? This is an alternate universe version of Mr. Krabs because Plankton and Mr. Krabs swap lives, right? Remember this. And as you can see, he's butt naked. He's just in his birthday suit. He's just going commando right now. This is how Mr. Krabs looks for a majority of this episode. Pretty much all of the episode where we're in, you know, the Plankton version of the Krusty Krab, Mr. Krabs is naked. But during this one shot when alternate universe Mr. Krabs is leaving the Krusty Krab, some of the frames of his walking animation show him with pants on, which is totally an error because as I mentioned, he's naked the entire episode. Mr. Krabs is always wearing pants, but in this one shot, he should be naked during the walking animation. Yeah, totally a mistake, and there's more. Here's the next mistake.
And the next day.
Phone call, Mr. Plankton.
And the next day. And the next day. And the next day. And the next day.
Now this one is way more blatant, like I don't even know how the animators missed this, but when SpongeBob gives Plankton the phone, take a look at his belt lock. Normally it's yellow, as you can see in this shot, but for some reason for about a frame, it's red. I don't know what's up, SpongeBob, he's just switching up the drip, you know, switching up the belt buckles mid-episode. It looks good, but yeah, that's definitely a mistake. And here's another one, roll the clip.
But it's just an ordinary crabby. Oh my goodness! Squidward!
I tried, Mr. Plankton.
This next one is weird, and it's very easy to kind of miss, but it is a mistake, trust me. So, when the camera focuses on this gnarly, dutty Krabby Patty over here, guys, would you take a bite out of this? Seriously, if I paid you $100, would you take a bite? I wouldn't. But when the camera's focusing on it, the right side of the screen has this random blue border right here. I'm putting an arrow on it. It's just randomly there, which like isn't that big of a deal. You can see it was just a little bit of a glitch in the animation or the encoding of this episode, but it's there and it shouldn't be there. So yeah, let's keep it moving over to another episode. Stay tuned, guys, because you will not believe what I have next.
Well, this record won't.
Next up, I have two really quick mistakes in the episode. Sing a Song of Patrick from season 5. Here, let's see if you guys can catch this mistake. Take a look.
Who's responsible for that song on the radio?
No, it's not that bad. Yeah, at least it got that first terrible song out of our heads.
So the mistake has to do with this incidental character right here, the iconic Fred. He's the one who's always going, my leg. Here's a quick clip.
My leg? My leg! My leg!
My leg.
My leg! My leg!
But yeah, this is Fred. And now here's the thing, guys. This mistake might not seem like that big of a deal at first because incidentals change colors and outfits all the time. But Fred actually has a lot of lines in this episode and the change is very abrupt. So as you can see, Fred is wearing brown pants and he wears this for a majority of the episode. But in one scene, his pants randomly change from these brown pants to these blue pants. And don't get me wrong, dude looks fresh in both pants, you know? They're fresh pants, but it's not supposed to be like that. He should be wearing brown pants the entire episode, but it's like the animators forgot that they drew him with brown pants and then changed it to blue pants. So a weird mistake, and that's not it for this episode. Here's mistake number 2.
We should sing him a song!
Who's responsible for that song on the radio?
Why, he's right here! Patrick's the—
This next one is easy to miss because it's more of an audio error. Audio errors are always like the worst in cartoons. But when Fred says, who's re, and it stops, right, from his line, who's responsible for that song on the radio, if you watch closely, Incidental 27's lips actually sync to what Fred's saying, despite the fact that Incidental 27 isn't saying anything. So there should be no lip syncing here from Incidental 27 because Fred is the one talking. So this one's kind of complicated, but let's keep it going and talk about more mistakes, guys. I'm saving the best one for last, so stay tuned. SpongeBob season 4 definitely isn't my favorite season, but it isn't too bad, especially because Steven Hillenburg was still somewhat involved. Now, the episode we're going to be talking about next is the episode New Leaf. Here are a bunch of funny clips from this episode before we get into the mistakes, just because I want you guys to see it. It's so funny. Alright, let's get into the mistakes. Now for this first one to make sense, I want you to take a look at this shot of Plankton, and I know it's kind of weird, but look inside his mouth. This is your hint for the mistake. Roll the clip.
I surrender! There's no pulling, Krabs. Can't you see my peace offering?
So as you've seen before I played that clip, Plankton's mouth is normally red, okay? It's always red, the inside of his mouth, ever since like season 1. But for some reason in this episode, I don't know what's going on, it's purple. It's never been purple before, and it's never been purple again. So whoever colored Plankton's mouth this time needs to go back and educate themselves on SpongeBob, because his mouth is supposed to be red. Anyways though, let's move over to another mistake. Roll the footage.
I never give you the formula.
This is just another strange one. So after Plankton opens the gotcha letter, Mr. Krabs bursts through the door of the chum bucket. And now it's important to note that normally the chum bucket's door looks like this. It's red with round windows, okay? Remember this. But when Mr. Krabs bursts through, the door is randomly transparent with rectangular knobs. It's never looked like this before. It's weird that they just changed the design of the doors to the chum bucket in this episode randomly. Like, this is an example of the type of stuff that happens in season 4, 5, and 6. There's just no continuity, but whatever. Mistakes happen. A weird one, but hey, let's keep it moving. Okay, up next is the patty caper from season 6, or the patty capper. Here's some clips from this episode. It's really funny.
Something happens to that secret ingredient. Don't bother coming back to work.
Where is it? Where is it?
This first mistake is really funny. I don't know how this mistake even happened. Roll the footage.
Hang back. I'm going in for a closer look.
So as you know, the inside of Sandy's tree dome has air and water can't get in, right? But at one point of this episode, SpongeBob digs a tunnel to Sandy's tree dome underground. But for some reason, the tree dome does not fill entirely with water via the tunnel, despite the fact that the water flows into the tree dome. It like stops when this should have flooded Sandy's entire tree dome, guys. They're undersea, and this made an opening from the ocean into Sandy's tree dome. It wouldn't just fill with a little bit of water. They would drown. So yeah, I don't know what happened here, but here's another mistake.
Whoa! Hey, don't I got a say in this? I'll see you later, SpongeBob. Things are getting...
First up is the season 2 banger, Bubble Buddy. I love this episode. SpongeBob gets his own Bubble Buddy in this episode, and it really bothers Squidward. But this episode is full of mistakes, guys. There's spicy mistakes hidden in this episode. I'm gonna show clips, and let's see if you guys can spot those mistakes.
Wait, there's cheese on these patties.
And?
Bubble Buddy's lactose intolerant. He can't eat cheese.
Were you able to catch mistake number 1? It's very easy to miss. Like, you need the eyes of a hawk to catch this one because it's so small. But when SpongeBob tells Squidward that Bubble Buddy is lactose intolerant, I have no idea how a person made of bubbles could be lactose intolerant, SpongeBob. But anyways, if you look closely, part of SpongeBob's top right corner detaches from his body. Again, it's very easy to miss, so I'm kind of zooming in on it, but look at that piece of SpongeBob's head just kind of floating there. That is an animation mistake, and hey, I can't really blame the animators, it's easy to miss. But this next mistake in this episode, I don't know how they missed it. Here are some clips.
I won't let you. Here we go. You'll never catch us now.
Now for this one, you really need to be keeping an eye on our boy Squidward over here, as take a look at this footage from the episode Culture Shock when Squidward does his iconic dance. Look at those fresh dance moves. As you can see, Squidward has 6 legs. It's always been this way even since the first episode of SpongeBob. This man has 6 tentacles. But when SpongeBob inflates Bubble Buddy to escape the angry crowd, Squidward is drawn with an extra leg. This dude just randomly gets an entirely extra tentacle, which is just a clear mistake. Whoever drew the animation in this episode forgot that Squidward only has 6 legs, which is definitely a mistake. But let's keep it moving, guys.
Check it out! Doesn't that look fun?
Season 8's Pet Sitter Pat is an interesting episode where Patrick is left in charge to watch Gary. As you can imagine, this was not a very good idea on SpongeBob's end, but we're not here to talk about that. We're here to talk about mistakes, baby. Let's get into mistake number 1. Roll the footage. Let's see if you guys can catch this one.
Yellow.
Patrick and SpongeBob, how's Gary?
Oh, Gary. Oh, yeah, he's fine.
This one is super easy, guys. Like, you all should have caught this one. You don't even need me to tell ya. I'm expecting you guys to know already. But this is how a normal phone looks, right? And as you know, phones normally have 10 number digits on them, right? There's 10 number digits on an actual phone. But I don't know what kind of phone good old Grandma Squarepants is using, because look, it only has 7 number dials, which is totally a mistake. I know they're in Bikini Bottom, but we've seen phones in other episodes of SpongeBob, and they have the right right number of digits, so this was definitely a mistake. It's a funny one to be honest, but let's keep it moving and move over. So when you get old, like your big brother Corey over here, all right, your big brother cartoon Corey, I'm turning old, I'm getting old. Sundays become like a very important day. It's like your day off because you're working all the time. So I'm not surprised that Squidward gets so annoyed at SpongeBob and Patrick for ruining his Sunday off in the episode Good Neighbors. I'm gonna get into the mistakes as this episode has a whopping 3 mistakes, holy. But here, take a look at the plot for yourself. It's actually a really good one. We'll get into the mistakes right after though.
Good morning, Squidward.
SpongeBob, what are you doing in my house?
I came to make sure you don't oversleep and miss work.
It's Sunday!
I feel bad for Squidward in this one. Man is busting his butt at the Krusty Krab all the time, working hard, dealing with SpongeBob, all right, dealing with Mr. Krabs and his greedy butt. And then SpongeBob and Patrick ruin his Sunday off. Poor Squidward. But guys, be prepared as I'm about to ruin your childhood. Take a look at this mistake.
However.
What's that, Squidward?
It's Sunday! Our good neighbor doesn't bother me on Sunday!
This is another one that just makes you laugh like a lot, as when Squidward angrily throws SpongeBob out, he's seen wearing his regular clothes. You can see it right here, his regular OG fit. But in the very next shot, dude is now wearing his pajamas. And this happens in a matter of seconds. Like literally he's seen in his regular clothes and then the scene changes and now he's in his pajamas. Weird continuity error, but let's keep it moving guys. I've got a couple more episodes coming up.
Target in range.
No way!
Hey, where do you want this life-size cutout of you, Mr. Krabs?
No!
Now this next mistake can be found in the episode The Inside Job, and I'll admit it's not that big of a deal, but it's still a mistake. So hear me out real quick. Here are the clips with the mistake. Let's see if you guys can catch this one.
It's located in the heart. How cheesy.
So as you just saw, Plankton can be seen sliding down SpongeBob's spine. However, SpongeBob should not even have a spine, guys, because he's a sponge and sponges are invertebrates. This is also a cartoon though, so I'm definitely overthinking this one, but I still wanted to include it. Like SpongeBob, if he was a legitimate sponge, like a sea sponge, he wouldn't have a spine. So let's move on to the next episode, which has much better mistakes than this one. These next mistakes are amazing. Some of my favorite characters in SpongeBob lore are the superhero or supervillain characters, especially Man Ray or the Dirty Bubble, which is why I especially love the episode Dirty Bubble Returns, which is about the Dirty Bubble actually being a character again in the show. Here are some hilarious clips from the episode.
Dirt, beautiful dirt.
It's a funny episode, right? It's got some really funny clips and it's awesome to see the Dirty Bubble back in action. But what isn't so nice to see is the mistake in this episode. It's very, very subtle and easy to miss, but the mistake itself is actually really bad. Here's the clip. So throughout this episode, we'll get clips of these like comic panels that relate to what's going on. And in the last Dirty Bubble Returns comic panel, when SpongeBob hugs Clean Bubble, his right arm and hand are transparent. Like, look at that dude. His right arm and hand are just see-through. The animators completely forgot to color it in, and that is a blatant mistake. That's a bad mistake. First up is the episode Karen 2.0, and as all of you guys know, Plankton over here has a computer wife. Dude, imagine being that desperate that you need to marry a computer. But anyways, the episode has 2 mistakes. Here's the first one. Let's see if you guys can spot it.
I hope this works. Oh, Karen.
So the first mistake is kind of a weird one, and you guys definitely need to pay attention so it makes sense, okay? But at one point in the episode, we see Plankton go and put a battery inside Karen Classic, the original Karen. So this tells us that Karen needs a battery in order for her to work outside of the chum bucket because she can't be plugged in, she needs a battery. But here's the issue, right? When he opens the battery hole to put a new battery in, there's no battery inside. So before this, when we seen original classic Karen moving around, how is she moving around? She needs a battery to work, but there was never a battery inside of her to begin with. So a little bit of a weird continuity error here. It's not that big of a deal, but this other error is really bad.
You glorified toaster oven. You poor excuse for a housewife.
Did Did ya catch it? Well, during this scene where Incidental 107 and this blue version of Fred are standing together, when Fred blinks, his eyelids are the wrong color. And it's kind of funny, guys, because when it comes to this character, Fred, there's two different versions of him. There's the brown version and the blue version. So when Fred was blinking here, I think the animators messed up and used the brown version's eyelids. I don't know, it's whatever. But let's move over to another episode, guys, and stay tuned because I've got some crazy mistakes.
Cheers.
Oh, did you hear that? Someone somewhere just dropped a penny. Penny? Where?
Our next episode with tons of mistakes is the episode Face Freeze. Here's the first mistake, guys. It's not too bad, but it's also pretty bad at the same time. Take a look.
Onion juice! Ah!
Come on, SpongeBob, chop chop!
Okay.
This first one is very easy to miss, to be honest. Like, I had a hard time finding it, and I'm sure our editor even had a bit of a hard time finding it. But when Squidward ducks behind the wall after saying chop chop, our dude is clipping through the wall. He's just going through it, and just, yeah, look at this zoom in. That is a bad mistake, Squidward. You shouldn't be clipping through other objects, especially walls. Hey, mistakes happen, but there's actually more in this episode. Roll the clip. Here's the other mistake, and guys, watch closely.
What y'all need is a massage.
And you're a licensed masseuse, right, Sandy?
Well, I wouldn't say licensed. Just sit back, relax.
Now, I'm sure you guys are asking, Cartoon Corey, what is the mistake here? What's the problem, man? What's going on? But take a look at this clip from season 1 and the mistake will make sense. Here's a hint. It has to do with SpongeBob being inside of Sandy's Trito.
There's no water in here.
I'm trying to tell you!
If y'all needed water, you should have asked.
Yeah, so as you just seen, usually SpongeBob and Patrick would dry up inside of Sandy's tree dome. Like, these dudes cannot survive without water. But it seems that this rule is just completely lifted in Face Freeze because the dudes are just walking around like there's no issues in Sandy's tree dome. They are not wearing helmets at all. And this is most likely due to the fact that a big part of this episode is them making all of these wacky faces, as you can see here. This is a massive mistake, guys. Like, this completely goes against SpongeBob lore, but whatever. Let's keep it moving and head over to another episode with tons of insane mistakes that you've never seen before. Don't click off yet.
What else did you buy at this convention? Your very own locomotive?
Yes. Next up is the season 6 episode, Professor Squidward, which, to be honest with you guys, is not the best episode. You know, the plot is kind of cool because we get to see Squilliam, but not the best episode. What it does have, though, is this mistake. Let's see if you guys can spot it.
Isn't it grand? He's such a great musician. He doesn't even have to touch an instrument to be brilliant.
All right, I've had enough.
So this character right here is known as Incidental F9, and as you can see, she's wearing this dress. It looks very good, she looks very pretty. But seconds later after that shot I just showed you, when we hear Fred say, "Isn't it grand?" Incidental F9's dress is missing. Her dress is just gone, and I highly doubt Shorty took her dress off in the middle of... Like, what? Where's her dress? Where'd it go? That's not it for this episode, guys. I have another mistake. This one, though, you really need to pay attention to.
Hello!
Like I said, this one's kind of complicated, guys, so listen closely. So during this scene where Patrick rides his locomotive into the trash can, we can see Squidward exit the building from this door right here, this door, and it leads to outside where he places the trash can, right? This door right here leads to outside, remember. But later on in this episode, this completely changes. It's like the animators forget, because when both news crews and the police come into Squidward's classroom, they enter the same door that Squidward took to go outside, but now it leads to a hallway. Before it led to here, outside, now it leads to a hallway. So a bit of a continuity error here. I don't know what's going on, but let's keep the video going, guys, and head over to another crazy episode with tons of mistakes. Don't click off.
Well, I'm full. I told you so, Karen.
Plankton and the Beanstalk is a fairly new episode. Like, I'm pretty sure it only premiered like a week ago, guys. So, you know, Cartoon Corey, he's got you covered with the new SpongeBob. I hate to say it though, this episode does have a small mistake. And I will say in advance, guys, this one isn't that big of a deal. The other mistakes we're going to be covering in today's video are much better, so stay tuned. But roll the footage, here's the mistake.
It's ready! It's ready!
Edible cold, edible cold, edible cold!
So throughout this episode, we're introduced to Sponge Duck over here, which is a very interesting take on SpongeBob, you know? But anyways, as you can see, Sponge Duck over here wears this red shirt, and it's on him for a majority of the episode. It's always there. But during this one shot, it might be due to the angle, but the red shirt is missing. And guys, honestly, even with this angle being different, you should still be able to see some of the red shirt. But this is a cartoon. It's not that big of a deal. Let's move over to another episode that has some jaw-dropping mistakes. Be prepared. Let's keep it moving. So that last episode was from SpongeBob Season 13, the most recent season of SpongeBob, so let's go back in time to old SpongeBob, the Steven Hillenburg era, and talk about some mistakes in the episode, Your Shoes Untied. I love this episode, it's a good one. Any classic SpongeBob I love. Anyways though, here's the first mistake, roll the footage.
Oh yeah, we are definitely out of here.
Yes!
This one is really funny. So guys, when the customers start to leave the Krusty Krab in this scene, this character right here, known as Incidental 67, wears a pair of pants that are similar to SpongeBob's, okay? You can see them right here. They're kind of fresh. Look at this guy, jacking SpongeBob's style, stealing his drip. Here's the problem though, guys. When the customers leave, this Incidental's pants just disappear. Where are they? At first, he's wearing these pants right here, but then in this scene, they're just gone. And again, just like Incidental F9, I highly doubt he took off his pants in the middle of the Krusty Krab. The burgers ain't that good, guys. But anyways, let's keep it moving and head over to another mistake in this episode. This one's pretty bad.
What's the holdup?
Now, any hardcore SpongeBob fan like myself knows that this character right here is Old Man Walker. And I mean, it's in his name. He's old. He's an old man. I love the guy, but he's a senior citizen. But I guess whoever made this episode kind of forgot about this, because when Old Man Walker says what's the holdup to Squidward, he talks in a young man's voice. Here's a clip right here showing his old voice again from another episode.
Hey, you!
Top of the morning, oldster.
Hey, I saw you on TV last night.
New brand flake.
He's old, right? As you just heard. Well, listen to his voice again in this episode.
What's the holdup?
Dude is like a young man again somehow. I don't know how this happened, but this was definitely a mistake, guys. This one's kind of bad, but hey, that's not it for today's video. Let's keep it moving and head over to another episode. Let's go.
Well, it's like they always say back in the old country, lad.
What's that?
I don't know. I've never been to the old country.
Next up is the season 6 episode, Pet or Pest. And this episode has 3 mistakes in it, so I'm just gonna get right into them. Here's the first mistake. Did you catch it on your own? Well, during this scene where this truck nearly like ends these worms, like these worms were about to be squished. If you look closely, there's no driver in the truck. Like this truck is moving and being driven, but there's no one in the driver's seat actually driving the truck. So this was a major mistake here. Like this was some laziness. And it doesn't end there for this episode. Here's the next mistake.
Great idea you had, Mr. Krabs.
Well, it's like they always say back in the old country, lad.
What's that?
I don't know. I've never been to the old country.
This one is very easy to miss, and shout out to our editor for finding it. But towards the ending of the episode, when SpongeBob and Mr. Krabs are selling the worms, one of SpongeBob's green holes turns red for less than a second. Again, it happens really fast, so I guess it's not that big of a deal, but I mean, SpongeBob's holes are not supposed to be red, and I mean, SpongeBob, if they were, you need to go talk to the doctor about that one, because that's not very good. What also isn't very good, though, is the last mistake in this episode right here. Get ready, guys. This one is just embarrassing.
What is it? I reckon.
Like I said, this one is really bad. So when SpongeBob is throwing out the worms, we see this blue fish approach right here and smell it, right? And what's really important here is we hear his voice, okay? Remember, he's blue. This is him right here. And he also has slime on his finger. You can see it right here. But when the scene changes, this fish changes colors. Like I said, he was blue and you see him put the slime on his fingers, but now when it flips, he's now green. He has the slime on his fingers. That's how we know it's the same fish, and he also has the same voice. So yeah, this was a major mix-up here. First he was blue, we see him put the slime on his finger, but then when it switches, the slime is on the finger of a completely different fish, and they have the same voice. So I know I'm kind of over-explaining this one, just it's easy to kind of miss it, but yeah, this episode is full of mistakes, guys, and let's keep it moving over to another episode with more crazy mistakes. Let's head over to Cephalopod Lodge, an episode from season 6 that I personally really like. Here's some funny clips from the episode. We're gonna get into the mistakes, but I don't want you guys to miss these clips. The episode is hilarious.
They didn't let you join either?
Ah, I found the institution had nothing left to offer me. I was stagnating.
Oh, I couldn't be better.
Mr. Krabs!
Like I said, it's funny, right? Give the episode a chance, but baby, it is mistake time. Here's this episode's mistake. Let's see if you guys can catch it.
Patty cake, Sailor Man!
Everybody knows patty cake.
We don't use our pinkies.
Okay, this one isn't that big of a deal, but SpongeBob and Patrick's secret handshake has them play patty cake without using their pinkies, right? This is something that they specify in the episode, as you could hear in the clips we just played. And remember this, guys, because it's important. When they play patty cake, they don't use their pinkies. Remember this. However, when they eventually demonstrate the handshake to Squidward in this scene, take a look.
Patty cake, Sailor Man! Bake me a cake as well!
SpongeBob, that's not a secret handshake.
Yeah, as you've seen, they clearly used their pinkies, like their pinkies touch each other, despite the fact that they said they play patty cake without using their pinkies. So a bit of a mistake here, it's not that big of a deal. Up next is another fairly new episode of SpongeBob, Dopey Dick, and I actually really like the episode. But before we get into the mistakes, here are some really funny clips from this episode. It's so funny.
I wouldn't be caught dead on a ship.
I'm so sorry to hear that.
Right, me loyal crew?
Now, the mistake in this episode is very easy to miss. Like this one, I had to watch it a couple of times to actually catch it, okay? It's your guys' turn to catch it. Watch closely, here's the clip.
The brownie rope, the smiley rope, and licorice rope.
Again, it's very easy to miss, but after Patbuck shows this version of Squidward, the smiley rope, take a look at the top of Squidward's head, because it's cut off for a few frames. Like, I'm gonna zoom in right here. You can see that there's still like the sky at the top, and just a piece of the top of Squidward's head is just cut off. It's missing, and that is a pretty bad mistake right there.
When you touch them together, you'll be instantly transformed into our duplicates.
We're ready!
Dude, these mistakes in the episode Shuffleboarding are, like, baffling. Take a look at this first one.
What?
You're all wet. You need to dry out.
What? No!
Now, I don't know how the animators made this mistake, but when SpongeBob is turning the dryer over here to shrink, take a look at his arm because it's orange. As most of you know, SpongeBob's arms are yellow. They've been yellow since the first season, but I guess the animators made a little mistake with coloring here because dude's arm is orange. SpongeBob, you gotta go talk to a doctor about that, dude. It's supposed to be yellow. And that's not it for this episode, guys. Here's another mistake. I need you guys to pay close attention. So take a look at these people falling down from the sky, all right? We can see this fish right here with red pants. Well, once this little dude lands on the ground, he just disappears. Take a look at the footage in slow motion. Literally, as he hits the ground, he just disappears. It's really funny. Talk about a bad mistake. And guys, this episode still has one more. Let's see if you guys can spot it. Just like that fish with the red pants, SpongeBob and Patrick have a little situation with disappearing off of the screen, as when SpongeBob and Patrick walk away from the prison, just as it epically explodes, our boys suddenly disappear out of the screen. Rather than gradually disappearing like they would in other episodes, they just suddenly disappear and it's very abrupt. It's not that big of a deal. We've got some crazier mistakes coming up in the episode, so stay tuned, but it's still somewhat of a mistake. But yeah, let's keep it moving and head over to another episode.
Movie disturbing! The Flying Dutchman in his own lair!
It's Squidward. He wants to complain to you.
Next up is a season 2 banger and somewhat of a spooky episode. I'm talking about Shanghide. Now, I love this episode, but of course, it has some mistakes. Roll the footage.
Very nice. Oh, what is this? Some kind of magic act?
Man, I don't know about you guys, but keep me away from the Fly of Despair. That looks just wacky and yeah. Anyways though, as most of you guys know, Squidward has 6 legs, okay? Well, actually he has 4 legs and 2 arms. But at one point while Squidward is falling through that evil Fly of Despair, 2 of his 4 legs are missing, which is 100% a mistake. And it's a bad one, but that ain't it for this classic episode. Here's the next mistake. Keep those eyes peeled.
Now think, SpongeBob. We're about to get eaten. What can you wish for to make it so we don't get eaten?
So what's really cool about Shanghide is it has multiple endings, because when the episode premiered, viewers could vote on which ending they wanted to see. I don't know if this actually worked when it was on TV, but there's 3 endings. There's a SpongeBob ending, a Patrick ending, and a Squidward ending. Now, in the SpongeBob ending, during this shot when Squidward is pointing, his arm disappears for a few frames. I don't know, man. Squidward, I think you need your arms. Those are kind of important. Guys, imagine just your arm disappearing. I know it's a cartoon, but what a mistake! And that's still not it. Here's the 3rd mistake in this episode. Damn, 3 mistakes in 1 episode? What?
He can find. Captain, there's a guy we can scare.
Now this one is more funny because it is a cartoon and this mistake isn't that much of a mistake, I guess. It's just more funny. But when SpongeBob first finds someone to scare, we can hear the sound of rushed feet pantering. So like the sound of feet running across a hallway or the ground, right? We can hear it just before the Flying Dutchman comes into the shot. However, if you really think about it, this wouldn't be possible because look at the Flying Dutchman. He doesn't have feet. He just has a tail because he's a ghost. So when we heard this sound effect right here, I'll play the clip.
He can find. Captain, there's a guy we can scare.
It couldn't have been from the Flying Dutchman because dude don't got feet, he's a ghost. But hey, like I said, this one's just more funny. Let's head over to another episode with some more serious mistakes. Stay tuned.
Fetch! Huh? New boomerang pet ball. Really works.
Man, there's nothing like season 2 of SpongeBob. It really takes me back to my younger years, especially the episode Gary Takes a Bath, an episode all about Gary, well, as you can imagine, refusing to take a bath. But we're not here to talk about that. We're here to talk about this quick mistake that happens in the episode. Roll the footage.
Treasure map revealing the location of buried pirate treasure in this very house. Come on, boy, let's go get that treasure.
Now you need to be a true SpongeBob fan to really catch this one or even understand it. So take a look at these random shots of SpongeBob's living room and take a look at the wallpaper. It's like this blue design with like bamboo sticks in it. And it's always looked like this ever since season 1. Here's even footage from season 1 of his bedroom. Well, in Gary Takes a Bath, we get this scene where SpongeBob is in the kitchen holding up his treasure map, okay? And as we can see, the background is incorrect. We can see the wallpaper of his living room, right? But as I already said, SpongeBob is in the kitchen. It should actually look like this. Here's some shots of SpongeBob's kitchen where the wallpaper is not blue. We know this for sure because the door in the kitchen is in the right place. This means for sure that it's not a shot of the living room, so the wallpaper should not be blue. This was like a weird mistake. I don't know how it happened. It's kind of funny, but let's keep it moving and head over to another episode.
Shrunk! I'm gonna need to get new pants.
You will not believe the mistakes in this episode, and they all have to do with SpongeBob's eyes. Not just SpongeBob, even Mr. Krabs is really funny. The episode is to squarepants or not to squarepants. Here's the first mistake.
Now to finish the day's chores.
Did ya catch it? Like I said, it has to do with SpongeBob's eyes. As when SpongeBob walks away from the dryer, his eyes are yellow for a frame. It's just as he's going off screen, and it's bad. Like, look at that. Both of his eyes are fully yellow when they're supposed to be white. And like I said, that's not it for mistakes with eyes. Here's another mistake.
Do these pants look square to you? They're round.
So?
I can't be SpongeBob SquarePants with round.
Did you catch that one? Because it's way more obvious, as when SpongeBob is talking to Mr. Krabs and says they're round, his eyes turn green for a split second. That looks gross. SpongeBob, that does not look healthy, dude. Like, yellow is one thing, but green, lime green like that, I'm concerned for our favorite little sponge. Who knows? Maybe he has the suds again. And that's still not it, guys. Here's one more mistake that has to do with eyes.
What you doing? Get to work! I'm used to Squidward sleeping on the job, but I expect more from you, Mr. Squarepants.
Man, what is going on with the eyes in this episode? The animators must be playing a joke on us. When Mr. Krabs says, I'm used to Squidward sleeping on the job, but I expect more from you, Mr. Squarepants. Look between his eyes. It should be the background of his office, like we should even be able to see yellow because of the yellow flag behind him, but there's white spacing in between both of his eyes. Like, this was just a really weird animation mistake. Like, I don't even know how this happened, but hey, it's a mistake and you guys can see it right here. But let's keep it moving and head over to another episode, guys. The mistakes are endless today.
Where's your ball?
I don't know. Gotta be around here somewhere.
There it is.
Uh-oh.
Play it where it lies.
Okay, this next mistake happens really fast in the episode A Friendly Game, so let's just get right into it. Here's the mistake, and guys, for this one, you really need to pay attention. Like I said, this one's complicated, so hopefully you guys got it, but if not, don't worry, Cartoon Corey's got ya. So, when SpongeBob and Patrick hit their balls into Squidward's house, we can see that they break this window right here. You can see they break this window inside Squidward's house. However, when SpongeBob over here walks around blindfolded and begins destroying Squidward's stuff, he breaks the exact same window that we literally seen him break earlier on, even though this window should already be broken. I mean, guys, I know it's a cartoon, there's cartoon logic, but this was just some bad continuity here. It's like he broke it, and then they forgot that he broke it, and he breaks the exact same window again. Like, what? How did this happen? But whatever, let's keep it moving to one more episode, guys. Let's do it. Next up is The Other Patty. This episode is all about another establishment making burgers that are popular. So believe it or not, Mr. Krabs and Plankton team up. Take a look at this.
Okay, fine. We'll work together.
Yeah, I don't see that working out.
Not to worry, gentlemen. I have a plan.
Dude, it is so weird seeing Plankton and Mr. Krabs, these arch enemies. These dudes have hated each other ever since season 1. Teaming up together, it's interesting. This is actually a pretty good episode, but this episode has mistakes, of course. Here's the first one.
Flabby Patty?
Another restaurant. Looks like Krabs has some real competition, huh? Interesting.
This one's pretty straightforward, but it's still pretty bad at the same time. But when Plankton says interesting, his mouth duplicates. It's easier if we zoom in really close to Plankton here. As you can see, there is 2 of his mouth, which I don't think that's very healthy, Plankton. You should go check that out, man. But there's more. Here's the next mistake in this episode.
Flabby Patty?
Oh, a Flabby Patty.
I started the Flabby Patty restaurant just to get you 2 rascals to team up.
So this one is a good old-fashioned plot hole, something that just doesn't make a whole lot of sense. So as you've seen at the end, SpongeBob is revealed to be the cook at the Flabby Patty Shack, alright? The place that has been causing Plankton and Mr. Krabs all of this stress. But here's the issue. There are plenty of moments where SpongeBob isn't in the Flabby Patty Shack, but the shack is already open and there are fish literally eating patties. I think we even see a fish get a patty at one point. So if SpongeBob was the one making the patties there, there, how did these fish right here get their patties when SpongeBob wasn't in the kitchen? It's a bit of a weird plot hole. I don't know what they were thinking. But guess what, guys? I lied. There's one more episode we're going to be covering today. Let's head over to that episode. Last but not least is an episode all about SpongeBob not being able to sleep, and this drives our favorite sponge crazy. Insomnia is awful, guys. Take a look at these clips. Poor SpongeBob, but you know who I really feel bad for, guys? The animators and writers on this episode, because they about to get roasted. Here, take a look at the first mistake.
You think mustard grows from seeds? Oh, at this rate I'll be broken 411 years!
Really?
It's funny because Mr. Krabs here is all about money, 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 but he cannot count for the life of him because, as you've seen, at one point Mr. Krabs calculates and comes up with the number 411. But the issue is he's adding numbers that made a much higher number. The real answer is 511, not 411. So Mr. Krabs, dude, you need to work on your counting, buddy. Like, you're all about money and all about this grind, but you can't even count, boy. But hey, he's not the only one. The animators also can't animate very well in this episode because there's also a mistake. I'm kidding, guys, just saying the animation's amazing in this episode, but there is an animation mistake. Roll the footage.
What's this? Another vision?
Click the video.